It's a very good afternoon to everyone. So we have been successfully entering to the day 3, session 3 of the day. So today we are going to have the speaker for the day, Mr. Ari Krishnan, founder and managing director of Eco Green Industries. I want to read out his profile before handing over the session to sir. And he has been completed his graduation in electrical and electronics engineering from Hyderabad College, and he has been completed in power management from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Dehradun. He's having the professional certification. I'll be reading out of the some of the professional certification which has been done by our subject expert, and he has been certified uranium mine electrical forum from Uranium Corporation of India, and he is a certified trained on installation and troubleshooting of SMA Sunny Boy and dry power inverters from SMA Academy, and he is a certified trainer in training methodology and dietetics from Renac Berlin. He is a certified master trainer from Skill Council for Green Jobs in Solar Power Management. He is certified and has been conducting a training program, especially pertaining to entrepreneurship development in the area of solar as well as in EV technology. Coming to his association, since he is basically entrepreneur, and he has been associated with one of the company called HEPC for isolation, for marketing and technical distribution of isolation transformer and doing the installation of electrical vehicle chargers. And he has been associated with the GES for subcontracting of DISCOM metering, shifting as well as installation work in the state of Telangana and Karnataka. And he's having a very successful associated with the Novozone, Tech Energies, Power Star Corporation, Mega Solar, and Servic Energies for solar power project financing under RESCO boot model and open access model. And he has also been associated with the solar panel manufacturing. I'll be mentioning a few of the solar panel manufacturers where our subject has been associated, like Renesys. It is one of the pioneer in manufacturing the solar panel. They're having the manufacturing unit in Hyderabad, and Vikram Solar, Polycap, and he's also doing associated with the thermal product of solar, especially solar cooker as well as BOS supply. And he has been associated with MSME, Micro Small Medium Enterprise Agra, for conducting the entrepreneurship program on, especially on two domain, emerging technology. One is on solar system as well as EV charging infrastructure. And very happy to say that Hari Krishna sir has been actively associated with the NSIC for giving training, especially on the solar system as well as in EV technology. And he is one of the empaneled faculties in NSIC Technical Service Center. And apart from the Technical Service Center in India, he has been associated with some of the MNC company like Steinbach Germany, as well as ISPAT VT. It is one of the companies located in outside our India. Coming to his credential, he is also published one of his article called Indian Revolution 4.0 and MSME Sectorial Contribution in India, published in the Federation of Telangana Chambers of Commerce and Industries in their articles Q2 of 2019. He's having a variety of experience in the, especially pertaining to solar system, EV installation, as well as doing the customized project on solar rooftop system. And as you know that he has been running the company, and he has been doing some of the EPC contracting and operation maintenance pertaining to solar PV system. And once the EV charging has been started, he has been actively taking his role and has been doing the installation of EV charging plant throughout India. And he has been working with the different, he has been served in different position, companies like notable projects on company like Uranium Corporation India, where he has been done the project manager, and Nano Solar, Steinbach India, where he has been given his thing. A notable project which has been done by him, by our subject expert, is he has been designed one customized training setup that is called Skills on Wheels. It is one of the project which has been funded by Telangana government in association with Steinbase India and Task, which has been inaugurated by the Honorable Minister of the local Telangana government, Mr. KTR, where this has been making the skill on wheel, where the vehicle can be moved to the interior part of the rural areas, where the student can able to understand the practicalities and how to design a solar system can be done by the setup which has been done by our subject expert. And he has been actively involved, actively contributed his part in installing the solar based PV plant, and he's also installed a DC charging station pertaining to EV. So he's having a wide knowledge, especially in solar system, and started doing the projects on EV installation. And apart from that, doing the technical things, he also actively involved in delivering the training program for the working professionals. He has been delivered the training program for Discom engineers of Maharashtra, Karnataka on solar PV system design, commissioning and inspection under USAID program in association with Siri Energy Hyderabad. And he has been trained state nodal agency officials of AP at Kadapa and Vijayawada on business and entrepreneurship model on solar PV plant in association with one of the prominent universities has been located in the south part of our country, that is called Gandhigram Rural University, which has been located in Dindigul, Tamil Nadu. And a trained village panchayat officials from Karnataka on solar application technologies and business model in association with MGIRAD Institute, Karnataka. He has been trained the entrepreneurs in and around Hyderabad on solar PV financial analysis, business model, and LED manufacturing in association with MSME Delhi. Delivered lecturer in solar plant design and analysis using the solar design software called PVC software to the Gujarat Energy Development Agency as well as Himachal Pradesh Electricity Company. So with this thing, I was very happy to welcome our subject expert for the today, Mr. Hari Krishnan sir, for to deliver the training program, to deliver the topic on EV technologies, where to understand the types of charger, how to select the charger for charging your EV vehicle. So with this brief introduction, on behalf of NSSC Technical Service Center Hyderabad, I was welcoming our subject expert, Mr. Hari Krishnan sir. Over to you, sir. Hari Krishnan sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir, and thank you for the brief introduction. And thank you for your opportunity to associate with a lot of people over here and share my knowledge here, sir. And thank you for the opportunity here. Yeah. So, can you just give me the access to share my presentation?
You are not able to share your screen, sir.
No, sir. My sharing tray is off.
Okay, give 2 minutes, sir. Just enable it.
Okay.
Balaji, can you try at your end? Just to give 2 minutes, sir. Just.
Okay, sure, sir.
Your given name as Hari Krishna only, no, sir?
Yes, sir.
Got it? Hari Krishnan, okay, sir. Guess it's showing yes. Balaji, are you doing? Actually, I wanted completed. Sir, right now you can check it, sir. Hari Krishna, sir. Are you able to share your screen, sir? Hari Krishna, sir. No, Balaji. Hari Krishna, sir. Wait. I'm doing. Hari Krishna, sir. Right now we given the option for you to present it.
Yes, sir. Now I got it up. Till now, my audio is also muted. So, yeah.
I think Balaji has been mistake in meeting the thing. No problem. Balaji, kindly ensure that you are not muting the thing.
Yes, sure. Are you able to see my screen, sir, now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, yeah, hi. Good afternoon, one and all. So I hope you had a very pleasant and good learning session still now. Okay. So I hope whatever I am going to discuss is about electric vehicle chargers and charging stations, and a little bit of things we'll also discuss about policy matters also here. Okay. So on the left side, you can see the pictures that we have, whatever we have installed in Karnataka location. Okay. So right. So let's quickly go through our things. What exactly we are going to discuss today? Okay, so we'll discuss about glance at the automobile industry. Basically, my contents basically focuses on business opportunities and entrepreneurship point of view. So I have to discuss about what is the automobile industry about that one. So basically, it is bedrock foundation for how to assess your business point of view. Next thing is that bit of a glance at EV policy. I'm not going to discuss much about the EV policy because that is not our subject as of now in this one. So electric vehicle charger types, what are the types of the chargers and which one to choose where, and what are the technical implications of that one? Meaning is that IEC recommendations and all will be there, right? So that recommendations, I'm going to show it in the standing committee recommendations by the central government of India. Okay, so right. So this I'm going to show you all these things here. Okay, so right. So I need each and everyone's participation here because rather than telling the things and all, you'll be listening to that. It's not good, right? So first of all, to all the participants, people who are there here from it might be students or it might be faculty or maybe industry people. Okay. So first thing is right. How many of your people are using the electric vehicles here in the group? Okay. So whatever the panel members are there, can you please unmute yourself and you can talk, or otherwise you can also put it in the chat box. How many of you are using electrical vehicles? It may be bicycle or it may be anything, four-wheeler, three-wheeler, anything. You can also put it in the chat box, please. Anyone is using that?
Yes, we are getting only no.
No. Okay.
Let us wait for another minute, sir.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, not used, not used. And one Mr. Sankaramurthy and using yes. Okay, so rest of the people are not using electric vehicles. Okay, so right, thank you. We'll quickly go through that one. So right, Mr. Shankaramurthy is only one guy who is using the electrical vehicle. I'm presuming that as of now. Okay, right. So and so the person who is using this electrical vehicle, I just like to understand where are you charging this electrical vehicle? Whether you are charging inside your home or you are charging at the charging stations which are located in nearby areas. Okay, so only to the person who had the electrical vehicle. Okay, right. So how you are charging your electrical vehicle? Whether you are charging at your home or otherwise you are going outside or charging. Okay, okay. So not started using. Okay, okay, sure. Okay, thank you. So right. It's for the previous one. Okay, okay, okay. Right. So then I presume that yeah, a lot of the people are not using any kind of an electrical vehicles here. So why am I posting these questions is because when you talk about the EV chargers and the business point of view, if you want to talk about that one. So if you have the vehicles, how you are going to charge that one? So if you can understand this, how the people are charging this one, so whether they are charging inside the home or whether they are going outside and for the charging. Okay, so it gives a good understanding about, okay, so how the participants or the how the people are using that electrical vehicles. Okay, so whether it's a good to install the charging station in different locations, will they be able to earn their money? Meaning is that the revenue from that one is well and good enough, or otherwise all the people who have bought that electrical vehicles, most of them are charging inside the home only. Then the person who is setting up the charging stations, okay, so will have more impact because the revenue will be very less in the shorter period of time. Of course, over a longer period of time, it might be there, but each and every day it counts. Okay, so that is what I just posted these questions. Okay, so how much time and all mileage and all, I just wanted to ask if anybody had that. Okay, so electrical vehicles, so if you are using that one, so I just needed to understand it. Okay, so presuming that nobody had an electrical vehicles as of now. Okay, so right, so if you face any person, okay, so your friends or anybody also, if they have electrical vehicles, kindly ask them. Okay, right, so where they are charging their electrical vehicles, do they have chargers set up in the home? Okay, so how long it is going to give the mileage? Okay, so whether they are charging some of the charging stations set up outside also, whether they are using it, is it actually functioning or not? Okay, so if you can assess this one, okay, right, so then you will be able to set up a charging station either at your nearby the home or at by your college premises also you can set it up. Okay, and you can use it in nearby locations wherever you want, and you can also do it as a selling point of view, as a business point of view too. Okay, so only thing is that you have to understand, right? So first thing, I just wanted to share you the glance at the automobile industry in India. Okay, so Indian automobile industry, considering the two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and four-wheeler, it is the fourth largest one in the world. Okay, so that was an expectations given by a lot of foreign experts and as well as Indian experts. Okay, so we'll be taking over to the third position. So we'll be overcrossing the Germany and we'll be taking over to the third position. That was by 2030 because India is the biggest market for the automobile sector. Okay, right. So next thing is that when you come to the turnover point of view, okay, so it's beyond 100 billion. Okay, so right now in 2020 and 2021, the financial year, if we talk that one, okay, so even though we do have pandemic, okay, so we have crossed more than 98 billion. Okay, so you can think about that one. So vehicle demand is going on even during the situation of COVID shutdown. Also, these two wheelers and the purchase is very big. Okay, right, when you talk about not only in India, that entire automobile sector, okay, so whether it may be Tata, it may be Maruti, yeah, the sales were good. Okay, right. So next thing is that, yeah, two-wheeler sector, we have to talk much about this one because in the market, in electrical vehicle market, you can see this lot of two-wheelers compared to the four-wheelers and the bigger vehicles. You can see the two-wheeler market, a lot of manufacturers, a lot of people have entered into this area. Okay, right, why they have entered into this area? Okay, why not four-wheelers? Whether we have only the very few companies like Tata is there, Maruti is there, okay, so and Mahindra are there, yeah, very small people are there here. So why not to enter into the four-wheeler? Why the lot of people like Ather, okay, so and other different companies have entered into only two-wheeler segment is because two-wheeler market is the largest in the world, and even we have surpassed a lot of countries like even US also. Okay, so right, so China we are not talking because the sales over the two-wheeler vehicles in the China is very less, and you know that one, it has the biggest population, but the vehicle usage of the two-wheelers is a little bit of a less compared to us and as well as US also. Right, so please do remember we are the biggest in two-wheeler segment. That's why the more focused, a lot of companies are focused only on the two-wheeler segment here. Okay, right. So next thing is that when you talk about this monsoon seasons and all, yeah, because India is agriculture is the backbone for the India, so we have to talk about that one too. So largest tractor manufacturer. Okay, so right, so when you talk about the agricultural sector, so we are the largest tractor manufacturer. Why I'm stressing this one is because there are electric tractors are also available in the market. Okay, so right, so which is already launched even in Telangana also, that is there. So one of the one is running in okay, so the area which is near to the Siddipet. Okay, so trial runs are going on, so you can also watch that in Google that one, and you can also see that one in news. Okay, right. And next thing, when you talk about the commercial vehicles, okay, so commercial fleet, when you have bigger companies and all, okay, so people movement will be there in the commercial vehicles, right? If you are working for the IBM or Infosys or anything, you will have the separate buses will be there. So that kind of a commercial vehicles. Okay, so eighth largest manufacturers all over the world. Okay, right. So this is just about the glance at the industry, and bottom things I have mentioned it up. Okay, apart from this, okay, so sales point of view and all. Okay, Okay, so what is the GDP contribution to the Indian point of view also? Okay, so I just mentioned it over the glance. Okay, so plus please remember only this thing: we are the biggest and we are the largest. Okay, so we do have huge amount of sales in India. Okay, and the market exposure is also very less. Okay, right? A lot of companies have penetrated to a little bit of an extent, and there is a very good and larger scope to enter into this market segment over here. Okay, so that is what the general meaning. I'll just show you which is a clusters. Okay, right? So when you talk about the automobile sector, okay, so you need to understand which location I have to focus. Okay, so you might be from Tamil Nadu, you might be from Andhra, you might be from Karnataka, you might be from Telangana or Maharashtra. Okay, so you might be from different locations. When you talk about the different locations, yeah, where exactly the more number of concentration is there. Okay, so a lot of manufacturers are there. Okay, so meaning is that there are aggressive people who will be staying. Okay, so we will be going on a neck to neck competition with these guys. Okay, there will be some other safe players who will be going away from these places. Okay, so any kind of a business model that depends upon the aggregate of the person who is doing the business can enter into this one. So first about when we're talking about this thing is Tamil Nadu comes the biggest part. Okay, so when you talk about the exports point of view and revenue share point of view, okay, so Tamil Nadu is the biggest and mostly concentrated. I mentioned it as around Chennai. Okay, so nearby Chennai, when you talk about TVS Motors is also there, which is sharing the borders with Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, but comes into the Tamil Nadu area. Okay, so there are bigger manufacturers over here. Okay, so when you want to enter into this segment, so please do remember that, yeah, there are a lot many manufacturers and a huge amount of export is there from Tamil Nadu, nearby Chennai area. So whether you want to go and neck to neck competition with these guys, okay, so or otherwise you want to go for some other location. Okay, so that is the choice is up to you. And when you talk about the Western cluster, okay, so Mumbai, Pune, and Nasik, which is the second biggest cluster, okay, so which accounts almost 33% of the market share in India. Okay, so when you talk about the northern cluster, mostly Delhi and Haryana, which contributes 30%. Okay, so right. So when you talk about these things, okay, so Telangana, Andhra, and all the things, when you talk about this one, yeah, southern Tamil Nadu is taking care of that one. Okay, so when you talk about the western, Mumbai and Pune, mostly Maharashtra is taking care of that one. When you go for the northern, Haryana and Delhi is taking care of that one. Okay, so right. So when you talk about the eastern side and northeastern side, due to some problematics with the transportation point of view, okay, so manpower availability and all the issues. Okay, so there are not many clusters which are located over there. So the biggest hub for the manufacturing is these areas. Okay, so select your business. Okay, if anybody is entering into the business, don't think that I am just a professor, I have to teach only. Okay, so but you will be doing a lot of R&D things if you want to okay, so make it as a commercialization of your prototype and all. Yeah, you can do that one. Okay, right. So and when you talk about the exports, okay, so you can also get small two-wheelers or three-wheelers, you can take as a dealership and also you can do the exporting. A lot of companies are doing this one. Okay, so right, so UK is our biggest market. Okay, so when you talk about the four-wheelers, UK is the biggest market for us. Okay, so then later stages it will be coming to Italy and Germany, Netherlands and Africa. Africa, when you talk about this one, two-wheeler market is very big. UK four-wheeler market is big, but African countries two-wheeler market is very big. Okay, so right. So if anybody has any kind of such a business, yeah, you can always tie up with these companies which are there in India and you can start exporting on your own. That's well and good. Okay, final thing is that why we are talking all about this. Okay, so electric vehicles and all is because to reduce the pollution, that is our main criteria. Okay, automobile sector totally contributes 18% of the total CO2 emissions. Okay, so annually, year and year in a country. Okay, so if we can control this one, we are going to reduce our 80% of 18% of your carbon dioxide emissions. Okay, so right. Okay, so this is just about the glance. Okay, and this was I was showing about two-wheeler market is very big and three-wheeler market is also good. Okay, so this is a sales figure. Okay, right. So if you want to, if you are a professor or a researcher, okay, so you are doing a lot of things. Okay, right. So you might be doing some kind of building up of any two-wheelers, or you might be doing the battery stacking. Okay, so you might be doing different techniques over there, or otherwise different electronic components which are related to the marketing industry. Okay, so you might be doing R&D, but in order to make your R&D in a commercial way, okay, so you have to analyze. Okay, so which companies are more here. Okay, so whether it may be two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler segment, if you can define that one and if you can focus on one segment, yeah, it can boom up. Then later stages you can expand it to the next levels. Okay, so rather than focusing on, yeah, I want to make a charger, but where you're focusing two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler. Okay, so when you talk about the four-wheeler, yeah, Tata is there. Okay, so Mahindra is there. Okay, so Hyundai is there, Kona is also there. Okay, so right, these people have their own manufacturing, or whether they are going for the some other people. Okay, so think about that one, then start your doing this one. Okay, so it will give you a good and fruitful results over here. Okay, so right, you can see the sales figure. Okay, two-wheelers each and every year increasing. Of course, 1920 because of some of the issues. Okay, so it has been little bit reduced, but in again in 2021 it still increased. Okay, so right, so this is all about the sales figures which is over here. Okay, right. So next thing is that when you talk about the electrical vehicles specifically, okay, so you can see this one 18 to 19 is only 1.3 lakh units which they have sold. Okay, so altogether two-wheeler, three-wheeler markets and all together 1.3 lakh units only. But when you talk about the 1920, okay, so you can see this one only two-wheeler alone were 1.52 lakhs. Okay, right. So it is far bigger than in 2018 to 19. So you can see this one sales are increasing. Of course, 2021 we are still awaiting for okay, so the FADA data. Okay, so of course monthly data they have released it up, but official releasing we are waiting for it. But we are expecting that the units were almost around 1.1 lakh. Okay, so hardly 40,000 reduction from the previous ones. Okay, so but only the commercial and commercial cars and as well as the passenger cars been reduced, but two-wheelers market is still intact. Okay, so right, so this is as per as the latest quarter results from a lot of manufacturing companies. Okay, right. Okay, so whatever the figure which were showing up. Okay, so compared to your 2018 to 19 and 1920, the sales figure has been increased. Okay, so 2021, even though we having the pandemic, but still then, okay, so right, it is very good number of sales over here. Okay, right. So and two-wheeler market is the bigger, the sales of the two-wheelers, okay, so is very big. And we are not talking about the bicycles here. Okay, so which had been sold very high number of units, but we are not talking about the bicycles because it is comes under the unorganized sector. Okay, so anybody who can make two-wheeler, okay, which is bicycle, they can sell it in the market with approval or without approval. With approval will come to the organized sector, without approval will coming to the unorganized sector. Okay, so there are some permissions which are given to you for the two-wheeler and as well as e-rickshaws. Okay, so without permissions also you will be able to manufacture and you will be able to sell it. Okay, so with limited restrictions over there. Okay, so that is why the e-rickshaws which are unorganized sector and as well as the two-wheeler bicycles which are unorganized sector is not considered in this sales figure. Okay, so right, so this is what the things about. Okay, so the glancing at the okay, so automobile industry of India and all. Okay, so coming to our main thing, EV charging infrastructure and all, we are going to talk about this one. Okay, right. So but I just need to understand one thing from you guys. Okay, so you have been listening to a lot of sessions and the things here which are going on here. Okay, so why the government or why we are more stressing on the electric vehicles? Okay, so why more stress on electrical vehicles? Why we are totally talking about electrical vehicles? Because the automobile industry, when you talk about IC engines, okay, so which may be petrol based or diesel based, which are already there in the market, and you know that everything is set up, petrol bunks and everything is set up, so infrastructure is there. Okay, so why we are not accommodating with the same things, even though you know that one BS6 vehicles are also launched, right? So why there is more focus and more stress on the electrical vehicles? Why not on the pre-existing vehicles which are of ICE engine based? Okay. So would anyone like to respond? You can also put it in the chat box, please. Okay. So yeah, Mr. Pradeep, to reduce emission pollution. Yeah, good. Anybody would like to respond to that? Anyone in the panel members or anyone in the group would like to respond? Why electrical vehicles?
வாங்க எடுக்கணும் இப்போ எடுக்கணும் ஆமா லேப்டாப் எடுங்க சார் நீங்க சொல்லவே இல்ல சார் எடுங்க ஆமா நீங்க கால் ரெடி பண்ணிட்டீங்களே பாதி சொன்னீங்க நீங்க.
Okay, so no one, I presume. Okay, so fuel exhaust, petrol wells. Okay, so well and good. One more opinion. Okay, so anyone, any other one would like to respond? To reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, yeah, well and good. Environment, yeah, well and good. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you for your response. Okay, so I just like to say all the people who have mentioned over here. So everything is pertaining to our environment. Okay, so there is all the people who have said is correct. Okay, so our petrol reserves and all, you know that of course that is welling a little bit. It's not much bigger. We are totally dependent on other countries for the importing point of view. Okay, so rather than our export of oil and gas, we are importing a huge amount. That is also again infrastructure. I mean, that is also economic burden on us too, right? So, and if you talk about the financial point of view, economic point of view, that is the biggest burden. So we are trying to reduce on other countries. Okay, so right on fossil fuels rather than we are trying to make it on our own. That is one more thing, yeah, when you talk about the economy. But main thing is that environmental point of view, yeah, that's well and good. Okay, so that is only the main focus. And why that one, everybody knows about it, right? So India is the home for top 20 world's largest polluted cities. Okay, so and the top 20 cities will be coming from, in the top 30 point of view, 20 cities are from India only. Okay, so right. So we are lacking that minimum standards which are set by the environmental organizations and national tribunals, green tribunals over in India and as well as abroad. Okay, so in order to make our future life sustainable and all things, okay, so we are totally focusing on the electric vehicle segment. Main thing is that to safeguard our future generation and to reduce the pollutions and make ourselves living for a longer period of time. Okay, so that is well and good. Everybody said the same thing. Okay, right. So, and when you talk about this electrical vehicle and as well as electrical vehicle charging stations, okay, so when I meet a lot of clients, okay, right, so it will be like chicken and egg situation. Okay, right. So being a businessman, I do visit a lot of people over here for setting up the EV chargers and all. Okay, so I do take care of, we do take, my company takes care of only of the installation and maintenance point of view. But when we reach to the customers, they will always say that one, yeah, there are no vehicles here. Yeah, okay, so we'll build the EV charging stations little later time. Okay, so most of the people will say that one because they are spending a lot of money over here. If there are no electrical vehicles roaming here and they are not charging, they're not coming to the electrical vehicle charging station and they are not charging at the station, then the person will be losing the revenue. Okay, right. So all the people will not put 100% money from their pocket. Even though they put also, they will always try to expect some kind of a revenue out of it. But when you look into the electrical vehicle people, okay, they will always say that one, why should I buy an electrical vehicle when there are no charging stations just like petrol bunks? Okay, so if I want to go for little longer distances, like from Hyderabad to another location and all, which is of 200 kilometers or 300 kilometers away. Okay, so I don't have any kind of intermediate charging stations. Then I'll not be able to purchase this kind of a vehicles. Okay, so like this is like a chicken and egg situation. Yeah. Okay, right. So which comes first, whether EV charging station comes first or electrical vehicles come first? Okay, so this is a little bit of question markable situation. So that's why the government has taken the initiative and they have set up the modern charging stations in most of the locations. Okay, right. So when you talk about the Bangalore 100 charging stations, which are commercially operated, one are only 11. When you talk about Telangana, 163 charging stations are located only in and around Hyderabad areas, but commercially operated ones are only 8. Okay, so I'm not familiar with the other locations and all. Okay, right. So this is a situation. Okay, the government has set up few things thinking that, yeah, by looking into this small infrastructure, the people will be able to buy the electrical vehicles and they'll be starting into this one, then they will be coming over here. Okay, right. So that was the main thing. And don't think that the government is going to take away all the revenues and take away all the businesses. This is only the model one. And apart from that, they left everything to you guys. Okay, so people who want to do the business and they can enter and they can enjoy over here. Okay, right. So when you talk about the charging infrastructure, okay, so I don't know what to call it, whether it is a chicken or whether it is an egg. Okay, right. So here we diversify that one into two things. First thing is the charging point of view. Next thing is the battery swapping. Okay, so you know that charging means you have to plug it in and you have to wait for some period of time. Battery swapping is like replacing your gas cylinders. Whenever the gas cylinder is over, you replace with another one. So this is a kind of a swapping. Okay, so remove the battery and discharge battery, you remove it and you have to place the charged battery. You don't need to wait for a longer period of time. It's only removing and placing it over there. Okay, right. So these two are the things, and main focus there is there on charging point of view. Okay, so when you talk about the charging, okay, in simple language, you have to remember AC charging and DC charging. Okay, so right. So when the power supply point of view is there AC charging and DC charging. And if you go a little bit of in deeper technical terms, onboard charging and off-board charging is the two technical terms. I'll just show you the pic how the onboard charging looks like. Okay, so when you talk about the AC charging point of view, okay, right? So it will be concentrated only on the low power levels. Okay, so very low power levels will be focused for this AC charging station. Okay, right? When you talk about the DC power charging station, okay, so this is the high power chargers or high capacity chargers, are the fast chargers, we can say this one. Okay, so this is also called as off-board charging over here. Okay, right? So but when you talk about the battery swapping point of view, okay, so when you talk about the battery swapping, depending upon the type of construction of the vehicle and the battery placement, okay, so right, it can be bottom swapping, means you have to remove the screws from the bottom and you have to remove the battery bank and you have to replace the battery bank from the bottom. Okay, so for that one you have to lift your vehicle. Okay, but for the bigger vehicles it is not possible to lift. When you talk about the buses or trucks, you will not be able to lift it. Such a kind of a huge infrastructure is a waste of time. So that's why for the buses and all, side swapping is there. Okay, and the heavy vehicles, side swapping. When you talk about the lighter vehicles, okay, so it may be back swapping or otherwise it may be bottom swapping. Okay, so these are the things which are there in the market. Okay, so the charging, whether it is a AC charger or a DC charger. Okay, so we are going to look into detailed aspects of the charging stations here. But when you talk about the battery swapping, okay, so whether it is smaller vehicle swapping or it is a bigger vehicle swapping. Okay, so that is why we have mentioned it as commercial or passenger point of view. Okay, right. So this is how the onboard charger looks like. Okay, so right, you will have a charging station over here, and your charging station cable will be there, and that will be fed into your electrical vehicle. Basically, meaning is that your charger output is AC power. Okay, and input to your electrical vehicle is again AC power. Okay, right, and your AC power will be converted into DC power. That charger or that converter is there inside your vehicle. That is why it is called as onboard charger. Okay, so here you are supplying the power, but the total control and regulatory mechanism and conversion mechanism is there inside your vehicle. Okay, so right, so this is the meaning of onboard charger. But don't worry about this one. In present market, whatever the vehicles are there, okay, so it is the combination, it is a dual combo. Okay, right, so you have the onboard charger and offboard charger both together. Okay, so it will automatically set an option and it will take it, thanks to our artificial intelligence. So it can sense it on their own and it can take that stuff. Okay, so right, so previously it was like onboard or offboard. One side onboard, I mean one side AC charging, other side of the vehicle is DC side charging. Okay, so right, this is also possible in the models, new models also. But latest models, AC plus DC charging in a single cable, that is also possible. Okay, so right, so this is the one. Onboard charger means the conversion and the charging and the controlling converting kit is there inside the vehicle, so that is why it is called as onboard charger. Okay, right, so this is a typical layout. I hope you might have seen this one. Okay, right, so this is just a typical layout of how this one, okay, so charging station to electrical vehicle, how these things are going on and all the things. Okay, so this is, you can see this one. Okay, so from the charging station, how the AC to DC conversion is happening, and you will have a ripple eliminator or the power factor controller, and afterwards your DC to DC converter is there, then battery pack, and again depending upon the motor. Okay, so whether it's AC motor or DC motor, you will have an inverter or converter or a booster circuit. Okay, so this is just a typical layout how it looks like. Okay, so well, coming to this charging infrastructure, we talked about AC charging and DC charging. If we can go a little deeper into that one. Okay, so in that AC charging also, okay, so slow charging is there, moderate charging is there, and this moderate charging, a lot of people will also call it as AC fast charging also. That is depends upon the person to person. Okay, so right, there is no regulatory aspect over here. And DC charging, when you talk about that one, there is no slow charging and all. This is okay, so high voltage charging is possible only in the DC sector. Okay, so you can see this one, level 1, level 2, and DC fast charging gas station has given the level 3. The name, whatever you want to talk about that one, you can talk about AC slow, AC medium, or AC slow, AC fast, and DC fast. Okay, so these three are possible. And right now in the present trend, there is a one more thing which is called as flash charging. Okay, so I hope you might know this hero characters in okay, Superman movies and all. Flash, he runs very fast. Okay, right. So the same thing here, flash charging. Okay, so which is not new here. Okay, so right, there is the one company which is called as okay, so ABB and Ashok Leyland has already done this one. You can also Google it. You can search it once. Okay, so right, so ABB and okay, so right, Ashok Leyland. If you can type that one, so flash charging station, which will be which is capable of taking 600 kilowatt of power, and it will be charging your bigger bus or a bigger truck within a fraction of seconds. Okay, so it is not even in minutes, it is in seconds only. You can see that video and you will be wondered. Of course, it is not a new technology to India also. It is already there. Okay, so India, we don't have much exposure, but only thing is that the prototypes are still running on the safety aspects point of view. But in other locations, when you talk about Norway or Netherlands, and then you talk about China also, okay, so these are already set up and well existing that one. So very fast, okay, so very rapid charging only for the bigger commuting vehicles, okay, trucks or fleet, or otherwise your buses, only for this one, because such a 600 kilowatt, your two-wheeler okay, bicycles or otherwise small cars will not be able to sustain such a huge power. It will blast the battery. Okay, right? So this is the three things. Okay, so AC charging, level 1, very slow chargers. Level 2, okay, moderate charging. DC fast charging. Okay, so these are the power levels which are mentioned over there. Okay, so this is little bit of a hard to remember, but only thing is that if you want to remember anything, level 1, you can think about it as a single phase supply, okay, chargers. Level 2, you can talk about it as three-phase supply to the maximum extent. Whenever people are using level 2, of course single phase is also there, but most of the people, which whatever we have installed till now, everybody will go for the three-phase supply, which will be giving up little higher power capabilities over there. Okay, so level 1 single phase, level 2 three-phase mostly. Okay, but when you talk about the DC fast charging station, there is no AC supply at all. Okay, so of course incoming is AC supply, but output of your charger itself is a DC supply, right? So it will be starting from the voltage range. Okay, so 200 volts, so it will goes beyond 600 volts, and even 1000 volts are also there. But in commercial Indian market, it is only 200 to 600 volts is there in the present market. Okay, right? So when you talk about the DC fast charging station, okay, right? So here the mention is 40 kilowatt onwards is there, but actual lot of manufacturers are giving you from 25 kilowatt onwards. DC fast is there, and DC slow is starting from 15 kilowatt onwards. Okay, so DC slow is nothing but only for your two-wheelers, bicycles, I mean two-wheeler bikes and all. Okay, so if you want to charge it within half an hour or 45 minutes, okay, so or less than that period, you have this 15 kilowatt charger. DC fast chargers are available. But when you talk about four-wheelers and all, starting range is 25 kilowatt onwards. Okay, right? So this is about AC charging and DC charging point of view. Okay, so when you talk about the single phase or level 1 chargers, you can also put it from your household point of view, because single phase supply, you can put it in the normal plug socket. That will be well and done. But when you talk about the level 2, okay, so right, so you need minimum 16 ampere socket if it is a single phase, or otherwise if you want a three phase directly wires, you have to get it up for the commuting point of view, right? So this is a little bit of a extra setup is required. But when you talk about the DC fast charging station, this is high voltage, 40 kilowatt and all, means you should have a separate transformer setup and all the things, right? So when you talk about this one, you need separate place in a different location. Okay, so level 1 mostly you can put it in your house also, you can charge it. Level 2, still you will be able to put it in a house or apartments and all these kind of chargers, you can put it over there, you can do okay, for the charging point of view. But DC fast charging is not possible in the households or nearby locations, because minimum 40 kilowatt means 11 kV lines. Okay, so beyond that capacity means 33 kV lines are required. Okay, right? So your house, the electricity department will never permit for this one. You need to set up in a separate location over that. Okay, so right, so these are the probabilities where exactly you can set it up. Okay, so in this level 1, level 2, okay, so there is one more older version of saying that one modes of charging. Okay, so right, so how the communication is going on from the charger to your electrical vehicle. So this is one of the way how it defines. Okay, you can talk about, okay, so AC and DC charger, you can say that one, that's well and good, not a problem, that is easy to say. Okay, level 1, level 2, level 3 and level 4 also easy to say, well and good. But modes means how it operates basically. Okay, so when there we have talked about the power levels and all, and here we talked about we will talk about power levels and as well as the communication. Okay, so which power is going on and what kind of a communication is going on between these two things is will be discussed here. Okay, so the mode 1, okay, so it is nothing but taking the normal 3-pin socket from your household and directly plugging onto the electrical vehicle. Okay, so this is very old one, and this is an obsolete model. Presently it is not available. Okay, so why it is obsolete? Because there is no control mechanism. Okay, so you are directly putting the power supply line, power cable line into the electrical vehicle. Okay, so what it is doing, just charging it up, but they don't have any kind of a sensors. Okay, the AC charging will not have any kind of a sensors. It is just a normal wire. Okay, so how much voltage should I send it? How much current should I send it up? Okay, so do I have to do any kind of a power factor regulations or harmonic eliminations and all? Nothing. It will not take care of anything. Okay, so if your electrical vehicle has automatic cutoff point of view, it will cut off, or otherwise it keeps on charging, and it will lead to, sometimes it will lead to an explosion also. Okay, so this is very obsolete mode 1, directly plugging the cable into your electrical vehicle. But when you talk about the mode 2 one, okay, so yeah, there is communication is there. Okay, right? So how much power I have to send? Okay, so how much voltage I have to send? Okay, so this is basically meaning is that you might have seen your normal UPS or inverters in your household. Okay, so when the battery is totally drained, okay, so it will give you boost charge. Then afterwards, it will go to the absorption point of view, then trickle charging point of view. The charging modes and all. That charging modes will be defined here in this mode 2. Okay, and typically it is usual. Okay, so this you can plug it in the 3-pin sockets. Okay, so which might be around 5 amperes to 16 ampere sockets. You can definitely use in this one. Okay, right? So depending upon the range, you can use this. The main thing is that there is the communication is there between these two things. Okay, so your charger and as well as your electrical vehicle. How much, how, and whether I have to shut down or whether I have to do any other activities, yeah, it will be discussed over here. Okay, so but basic thing is that output, and there is a small lead. In mode 2, you can simply think it like you are charging your, your laptop charger. Okay, so you will have a cable and you will have a small charging box or the converter box which is there after the cable. Okay, so think about it as laptop charger. Okay, so you have a separate communication box or the conversion box over here. And when you talk about the mode 3, it is of little bit of a higher capacity, and the communication and everything and conversion is there inside the charger itself.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Not working.
Yes, please, sir.
Sir, your screen is not changing, sir. Are you changing the slide, sir?
Yes, sir. My slides are changing.
But we have been stuck up with, we are able to see only the electrical vehicle charging infrastructure. That slide only is there. We are unable to see other slides, what you are explaining right now.
Okay, just a minute. I'll just disconnect it and reshare. Now, is it visible, sir?
Wait, sir. Okay, sir. Now we are able to see the charging mode, sir. Mode 1.
Yeah, it's slides are changing now, sir. Now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay. Right. So what we're discussing is about mode 3 point of view, mode 3 type of a charger. Okay. So mode 3 type of a charger, you can think about like, okay, so your mobile phone charger. Okay. So your mobile phone charger, you can see this one, there is a hard lead into that one, and the plugin will be there and the conversion will be happening there itself. And you will have just only a USB cable which is attaching to your mobile phone. This is also the similar mode. Only difference is that where is the communication portal is there. Okay, so if it is outside, then it is a mode 2. If it is inside the charger itself, that is a mode 3. Okay, but power levels are also different. Mode 3 is a little bit of a higher capacity, and mode 2 is a little bit of a lower capacity. Okay, right? So 3-pin charger, 5 ampere charger, you can talk about on the top, and the bottom one is 16 ampere charger, or beyond the 3-phase also, which will be over here. Okay, right? So when you talk about the last one, which is a mode 4, okay, so which is nothing but your DC charger directly itself. Okay, right? So the charger will convert AC to DC there only, and directly it will supply the DC power to your, okay, so 4-wheeler or 2-wheeler. Okay, so this is the modes. Mode 1 is obsolete. Mode 2, yeah, still there in the market. Mostly you will be able to see this one for 2-wheelers. Okay, so mode 3 is also there. 2-wheeler and 3-wheeler and 4-wheeler segment, you can see this one. And mode 4 is only for the 4-wheeler and higher capacity. Fast charging, you will be able to see this one as a mode 4 chargers. Okay, so this is how the technicalities will be discussed over here. I just discussed only on a brief. Okay, so not on a bigger note, right? So when you look into the charger, I hope everybody are able to see the pic. Okay, so this is on the left side. You can see the pic, whatever we did installations in a few parts of Karnataka. Okay, so we have taken the pic over there. That is a look of that one. Okay, so if you can see manufacturer to manufacture these components and model to model, this will change slightly, but overall the functionality will be the similar one. On the right side, I try to replicate from the different prospect. Okay, right. So when you open the charger box, okay, so EV charger, the parts will be looking inside this like this, okay, right? So when you talk about the converters point of view, okay, so you can see this one, there are bidirectional converters, okay, so which will convert AC to DC, or DC to AC is also there, okay, so right. So this AC to DC is for the AC incoming supply will be coming from the main supply lines, and it will convert to the DC supply. And after the DC supply is converted, you will have a regulator, okay, so right, which is a bidirectional DC to DC converters. It will be going over there, okay. From there, some part of power supply might be given to, okay, some kind of a sensors will be there inside it, okay, and there will be some kind of an equipment which might be your exhaust fans and all, okay. The feedback loop will be taken from that one, and it will be able to sense it, okay. So temperature sensors will be there, okay, right. And apart from that one, there will be any leakage current sensors might be there, okay. So it will be feeding the supply to that one. And next thing is that if you have any kind of an exhaust fans, the supply will be fed. So that's why it is called as a bidirectional DC to DC converter, okay, right. So and after that, you will have a unidirectional DC converter, okay, right. So there your power amplification, whether you can eliminate the ripples and try to make it as a constant, okay, so DC voltage point of view and all the things, okay, so harmonic elimination, ripples point of view elimination, that kind of a circuit will be there in the unidirectional DC to DC converter section point of view. Of course, it will DC is flowed in only one direction, there is no tapping over there, okay. So from there it will be again going to the DC bus, okay, so you can circuit over the DC bus, and from there via the communication signals it will be going to the battery pack, okay. So battery pack communication line will be there. From there it will be going to your electrical vehicle over here, okay. So this is how the power supply goes on, okay. So whenever you give the incoming power supply directly, it will be going on to via, there will be a sensors will be there, okay. So your current sensors and voltage sensors, okay. So that from via that sensors it will be going to AC to DC bidirectional converter, okay, right. So after that it will go to DC to DC bidirectional converter, and from there DC to DC unidirectional converter, then again DC bus, and after that via the sensors again, okay. So this will be a DC sensors which will be used here, even thermal sensors will be there here, and from there it will be going to the battery pack connection point of view, and from there it will be going to your vehicle, okay. So this is how the power flow will be there, okay, right. Okay, so this is how on the outer side it will be looking like in this fashion, because most of the people might not be opening it up and checking it up in the internal, okay. So this is the outer look of it, okay. So on the top one, I just written it as the small white color strip is LED bar status, okay, right. So in internationally approved standards is that if it is in a green color, okay, so you have to presume that when there is a person who is available there or not, okay, so the system is running fine and you can use the charger. But when the bar is in red color, okay, the system is under maintenance, or otherwise it has been used by some other person, it has been using by some other person, okay. So there might be single leads or dual leads or also will be there over there. So by looking at the bar status, you have to understand whether the person is there or not. Irrespective of that, you have to understand, okay, whether it is in green color, yeah, I can use it. If it is in red color, I should not use it, okay. So there is some problem with that one, okay, right. So next thing is that screen. Of course everybody knows about it, the voltage, current and all the things, what is the time duration and all will be reading over the screen. Next thing is RFID tag is there here, okay. So RFID tag, different manufacturers, electrical vehicle charging manufacturers will be there, okay. So they will give you an RFID tag, or otherwise you can make your own RFID tag, okay. The purpose of RFID tag is different for different people, okay. Some people will use it only for turning on and turning off of the machine, okay, so which is your charger, okay. So whenever you place the RFID tag, yeah, okay, so your plug will be you can take out the plug holder from the plug and you can charge your vehicle. Otherwise it will be magnetically locked until unless you press that RFID tag. This is the most widely seen all the chargers, okay, right. So next thing is that the payment can also be done by using this RFID tag, okay. So depending upon the financial stability of the charging station owner, whether he can use it or he may not be able to use it, okay. So right, so by placing that one, it will automatically sense how many number of units you have consumed, and from that one it will be automatically deducting the amount. So this is just like okay, your metro rail pass is there, right. So it is similar to that one, okay, right. So you have to recharge it and automatically it will be debited from your account, okay. So for the each and every person who is coming to you, okay, so I mean the charging station, they should have this RFID tag. For that one, there should be a communication, or there should be a relation linkage between the electrical vehicle manufacturer and the charging station, okay. So right, so when you talk about Okay, so MG Hector is there. Okay, so MG vehicles are the electric vehicles are there. So when you talk about them, they will always supply Delta chargers only because they have the tie-up and they have the link. Okay, so right, so that kind of a setup. When you talk about the Tata ones, yeah, you can also use Tata. Okay, so EV charging stations, Tata vehicles to EV chargers. Okay, so right, that kind of a setup is there. Then it will be very good and it will be very easy to set up this. Okay, so RFID payment modes point of view. Or otherwise, each and every person comes to your place, new person might be coming, or he is just only a one-time visitor or multiple time visitor. So you're unnecessarily wasting your RFID tags. Okay, sorry. Then next thing is plug holder. I don't need to explain much about this plug holder point of view. Okay, so it is always magnetically coupled. Okay, right. So next thing is the power cord holder. Okay, so right. So nothing but your cables and all the accessories will be there over there. Okay, so you have the access panels. Okay, so which you can open it and see. Okay, so what is there inside and all. Okay, right. So there are other different things like if you want to install it in the ground levels, or if you want to install it on the pole. Okay, so fix it to the wall point of view. There are different elements which will be there for the base and as well as the hanging on the backside point of view. Okay, so just like your TV, you can mount it on. Okay, so on the shelf, or otherwise you can put it to the wall. So that kind of a setups will be there. Similar to this, here also you will have the setup. Okay, right. So this is the outer look of the EV charger. That is the inner look. And when you talk about the charging connectors, okay, so here are the charging connectors, how it is looking like. Now we talked about what are the parts inside the charging station and how it is internally and out externally, how it looks like. Okay, and we talk about the charging pins or the charging ports. Okay, right. So similar to your mobile phone. Okay, so electrical vehicle will also have these charging ports, and you have to match it properly, or otherwise, it will not be able to it will not be able to take it. It will give you a red color indication. Okay, so malfunctioning of the system, or otherwise it will show you the indication in the LED bar status stating that okay, so improper or misconnection of your charging. Okay, so charging port and all. Okay, right. So when you talk about these chargers, when first thing we'll talk about the AC chargers, DC chargers, then we'll talk about the combined chargers are also available in the market. First thing is Type 1 charger. Okay, so which is called as Yazaki socket, and which is most predominantly used in Japan and USA. And okay, so here in Indian scenario, we are not using the Type 1 sockets, but still only for your reference point of view, I just shown you over here. Okay, right. So you can see this one. There are ports are there on the left, on the top side. You can see this on the left hand side picture. Okay, so there are 5 holes, 5 pinholes. You can see this one. Okay, so 3 are there for your supply point of view. Okay, so phase, neutral, and as well as additional ground. And the side small holes are there for the communication point of view. Okay, so carrier wave signals and as well as the communication signals will be traveling over there. So this is a Type 1, but which is not widely used in India because of this these voltage levels and all, and the usage of vehicles in Indian market is very less. This kind of a vehicles, Yazaki socket. Okay, right. So we are not using that one. Next thing is Type 2. Okay, so Type 2 socket is the one. Okay, so which is most widely used in Germany. And when we talk about the Germany also, we should also aware that okay, so Volkswagen and a lot of companies are there in India also, right? So we are using this Type 2 socket here in Indian scenario. Okay, so and what is the power capacity? Maximum it will be able to take about to 44 kilowatt of power. Okay, right. Maximum is 44 kilowatt, and that depends. Okay, so if you go to that person, if you are making your EV chargers on your own, okay, so for that one you need charging socket separately and electronics items separately, and everything should be assembled. At that time, you have to ask them, yeah, I need 10 kilowatt or 20 kilowatt or 25 kilowatt of Type 2 socket. Yeah. Okay, so then you should know that one Type 2 is compatible with socket and all. I'll just show you in the later stages which is compatible with which vehicles point of view. Okay, so all the vehicles which are manufactured in Germany. Okay, so even in Indian vehicles also, when you talk about Tata and as well as Maruti, Mahindra also. Okay, right. So when you talk about these people, yeah, it will support Type 2 and mostly for the AC charging. Okay, so AC moderate charging, or a lot of people will call it as AC fast charging also. For that one, this will be supported. Okay, so please do remember Type 2 is used in India, and similar, okay, similar to on the top here also the same thing. Okay, but only thing is that the carrier wave frequency signals and as well as the thermal indicators are there here. In the previous one, these are only the signals which will be able to sense it up, but here you do have the thermal indicators are also which will be able to sense the temperature or the health of the battery circuits inside this one. Okay, so you can also modify the Type 1 Yazaki socket, and you can also do that the same thing with the Type 2 also, but based on certain standards made by European government and all. Okay, so this they have made it as a mandatory. Okay, so right. So similarly, three-phase and neutral will be there. Two communication ports will be there, and apart from that, you will have the thermal sensors and as well as the battery health checkers will be there here. Okay, so that is why there are a little bit of extra connections over there. Okay, right. So when you talk about the Type 3, okay, so this is also the grand socket with the Legrand socket. You will call it as. Of course, everybody knows Legrand. Okay, so MCBs also you might be using it. It is only in the France and Italy, and most of the cases in European countries only. We are not using this ones here in India. Okay, so in all these AC chargers, we are using only the Type 2 socket. Okay, so in Indian scenario. Okay, right. And next thing is that when you talk about the DC chargers, okay, so here you can see this one. Chademo is there. Chademo is nothing but the Japanese name. Okay, so the meaning is that charge on the go or charge on the way. Okay, so meaning is that. Okay, right. So here you can see this one being a DC charger. You can see this only two pins. Okay, so for the supply point of view, and these are a little bit heavy pins here. Okay, so compared to the AC, this will be a little bit heavy because you know that. Okay, so high voltage and when you are passing the high current. Okay, so there will be always a heat generated over here. Okay, so in order to dissipate that one, you need the bigger conductor size. Okay, and this Chademo charger is up to 400 kilowatt. You can use this one, and most widely used in India also. DC fast chargers means, okay, so first thing which will come into your mind is Chademo charger. Okay, right. So this is a charging pin you have to remember. So in AC Type 2 we are using it up. In DC Chademo we are using it up. Okay, right. So next thing is that these are the Japanese models. Okay, so so when you talk about the Chademo is a Japanese model, and even though we know that one, we are also using Chinese vehicles also. When you talk about the Chinese vehicles and all, okay, so right. So most widely used one is the GBT charger. Okay, right. GB or T charger, basically it is called as. Okay, so right. So this is also DC charger again. Okay, right. So where the most widely used in China and as well as even in India also. Okay, so and most first and foremost thing which is used by the Mahindra and Mahindra E2O is a model which comes with this kind of a charger. It was in olden days, but right now there are a lot of other companies also made with that. Okay, right. So in DC, Chademo will use it up, GBT will use it up, and you know Tesla supercharger is always like Tesla is always Tesla. If you purchase a Tesla vehicle, you have to purchase a Tesla. Okay, so supercharger, or otherwise they will give you compatible ones. That's it. Okay, so and but Chademo and GBT are compatible for the most versions of the electrical vehicles. Okay, so when you talk about the Tata, yeah, it will support Chademo and also it will support GBT also. Okay, so when you talk about Mahindra and Mahindra, GBT it will mostly support, and DC fast charging Chademo it will support. Okay, so when you talk about the different vehicles, it will support these things. But when you talk about the Tesla, it is only for them. Okay, right. So this is the previously we seen it as DC separately, AC separately. Okay, right. So DC separate and AC separate is not good for us. Like wife and husband staying in one locations, like in the COVID scenario, you stay in one location and I stay in other locations. So this will not work out anyway. Okay, the chemistry doesn't work out. So that's why they have given it as a combined chargers, AC and DC charger together. Okay, so right. So previously, if anybody had seen the Mahindra E2O vehicles, okay, so which are there in the market also, you can see this. On the left hand side, one charging port will be there, AC charger. On the right hand side, there is one more port, the charge porting will be there, DC chargers. Okay, so if you are going for the charging station which has only AC chargers, you have to put it in one on the left side of the electrical vehicle. Or if you want to, if you have the DC charging stations, you have to look into the charger and you have to open on the right side and you have to place it, just like a petrol pump. Okay, so petrol tank. Okay, so normal vehicle we have petrol tank in only one location, but you know this will have in the two locations. Okay, so that was a old model. But right now, in the present market trend, you have combined models are also available in the market. Okay, right. So here, what it will do, the single port itself, AC and DC charging, it will be doing together. Okay, and there is very big advantage compared to any other chargers. Okay, so this AC and DC combined chargers have a bigger advantage. Okay, so one point I forgot to tell you guys, whenever you are doing the DC fast charging, okay, so DC fast chargers will only give you charge up to or charge your battery up to 80%, or otherwise it may charge up to 87 or 90% maximum. Whatever the markets available in the market all over the world, it won't charge you beyond 90%. All the batteries or your vehicle will be charged only up to 80 to 90% only. Beyond that, your DC fast charger will not charge. Okay, so it will automatically cut off there. And you can also see YouTube videos also why it will and all. Okay, right. So that is for the safety of the battery. Okay, so once the battery reaches 85% or 90% of the charge, okay, so then it should not be charged at a higher amount of current and high voltage levels. Then you have to do it as a trickle charge, lower levels point of view, and the DC charger will not be able to provide because it will provide you constant voltage and constant current, the same levels. It won't reduce anything. Okay, so once your battery in the electrical vehicle has been charged up to 85 to 90%, okay, so then you have to change that one. Then you have to remove the DC for charger and you have to place the AC charger, and then you have to charge till the 100%. Okay, so I hope you know the battery cycles point of view and all. Okay, so one charge and one discharge is considered as a charge. Okay, so one cycle of the battery, and the batteries will be there for, okay, so 1500 or 5000 cycles or some 7000 or 10,000 cycles. Okay, so if you charge to 90% and if you discharge the 90%, then one cycle is done. Okay, right? So you are losing that one 10% amount, you are losing that one. So if you charge the 90%, again if you discharge 50%, again if you charge that again from the 90%, then again one cycle is gone over there. So you are reducing the battery life over here, even with your normal mobiles also. Okay, so why we will charge only 100% and then discharge up to 15 or 20%, then only we will be able to charge it back. Otherwise, if you are middle and if you are plugging it in the middle itself, okay, so 50% is the right plug it, 20% is the right plug it. Okay, so that will reduce the life of the battery. Okay, so right. So DC chargers will charge only up to 80 to 90% only. Remaining, you have to do it from the AC charger. This is for the life of the battery and for the health of the battery. This is mandated. Okay, so after this session, I'll give you the link is also there in the downside. You can also go to that one and then you can look for different charges and why only 80% and all. Of course, most of the people are electrical engineers. I think everybody knows about this one, the heating issues and all, and the battery life point of view. Okay, so on the top, you can see this one. Okay, so CCS1 and CCS2 is there. There are two versions of it. Okay, so which are called as combined charging system. Okay, CCS means CCS2 is the latest one. All the vehicles will support CCS2. Okay, so we'll just see some of the pics over here. Okay, so which chargers we have to use and what things we have to use. Okay, so we have seen it: AC chargers, DC chargers, and you can see this one combined chargers are there. Okay, so CCS. Okay, so CCS2 is the latest version. Okay, right. So while talking about the setting up of a charging station, okay, so here we have seen the slow chargers, moderate chargers, fast chargers. Okay, okay. So you can choose anything, you can set up anything, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so right. But there is a one thing which is called as a FAME policy. Okay, so foster adoption of manufacturing of electrical and as well as hybrid electrical vehicles in India. Okay, so this policy have been adopted. Okay, so 2017 that again started this stuff. Okay, so if anybody wants to install under this policy, then you have to use only the charges which are specified by the ministry. Okay, so right, so that the charges they have specified is these ones. But if you are a normal person, okay, you can choose any of this one. You don't need to choose all these things. You don't need to choose any one. That is your wish. Okay, but if you want to if you want to use this FAME policy point of view, okay, so they will be providing you some sort of subsidies and all. With that, you have to go ahead with this one. Okay, so what the government has given is that you should have a minimum CCS charger, okay, which is type 2 of 50 kilowatt, CHAdeMO charger 50 kilowatt, type 2 AC, Manakel charger again 22 kilowatt, and Bharat AC and DC, which is nothing but your GB or T charger, okay, so which is of 15 kilowatt and 10 kilowatt. Okay, so these are the things which are given by the government of India, okay, for the setting up of the bigger charging station, public charging stations. Okay, so all these chargers together, they will set up a one charging station. Okay, of course, in that one also they have given concession. Okay, so right, in 2019, this program has been ended. Okay, so you will get 25% to 90% of subsidy on whatever the equipment you purchase on the infrastructure point of view. Okay, so because of that subsidy, a lot of people have applied, and you can see this. A lot of people have set up this charging station. Okay, so right. So this is only for the government point of view. I just shared you this stuff. Okay, so I just taken a case study of Hyundai Kona point of view. Of course, everybody knows Hyundai Kona has got the biggest battery. Okay, so in Indian version, but there is one more version which is not yet launched in India that will give you beyond 600 kilometers of range. Right now, the present model which is there in India, okay, so which is 39 kilowatt hour model, which will be giving you 52 kilometers on a single charge. Okay, so that is claimed by the company. But there is a bigger version of it. Okay, so which is not yet launched in India. You can Google it and you can see this one, which is also available in a lot of countries. It has been presently running on. Okay, so right. So here I have taken this Hyundai Kona. Battery capacity is 67 kilowatt hour, but how much you can choose in that? Okay, so only 60%. Okay, so 60 kilowatt hour you can use it up. Okay, so meaning is that 90% of the battery only you can use it. Remaining 10% will be there as a reserve. That is general for any kind of a battery. Okay, right? So which charger it will support? Hyundai Kona. You can see this one. Type 2 charger if you talk about AC, and that too either single phase or three phase 7.2 kilowatt only. And when you talk about the DC fast chargers, okay, so or otherwise fast charger, AC and DC combined, okay, so it takes only CCS charger, and maximum DC it can take 80 kilowatt because AC is already given it as 7.2 kilowatt even here. Okay, so right. So type 2 and as well as CCS charger, it will support. Hyundai Kona will support it. Okay, so we'll see a small thing. Okay, so what it will happen if you plug it? Okay, so type 1 charger, which is a slow charger, which is a 10 kilowatt GBT charger. Okay, so 29 hours it will take for charging. Okay, right? But if you take it as a small, a little bit of a level 2 charger, okay, single phase level 2 charger, it will take 18 hours. Okay, three phase level 2 charger, it will take 10 hours. But if you take 22 kilowatt charger, still it will take 10 hours. Okay, so I hope you got the meaning. 7 kilowatt charger if you are taking 10 hours, 22 kilowatt charger if you are taking still 10 hours. Okay, so why this 10 hours? Because 22 means it has to reduce, the time period has to reduce. But the problem is Hyundai Kona will support only up to 7.2 kilowatt only, right? So even though if you are connecting 20 kilowatt or 30 or 40, it will take only 7.2 kilowatt only. Okay.
Harikrishna sir, just a minute.
Please, sir, can
Audience,
you?
kindly ensure that you have been muting your mic, sir, please. It's creating disturbance for us. Harikrishna sir, you can proceed, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. Yes. So what we were discussing here is this one. Okay. So when you are connecting a charger, okay, so please do ensure that what is the power capacity or power rating of the charger. Okay. So if you are connecting 22 kilowatt or 100 kilowatt also, it will not take because the charger limit is already preset. So please do take care of that one, then ensure. Then when you go to the DC charger, you can see this 50 kilowatt charger, 50 minutes, it will take almost full charge. If you take 50 kilowatt also only 40 minutes. Why? Because it will take only up to 80 kilowatt charger, which is there in the Hyundai Kona model. Okay. So whenever some person is coming to you for the charging point of view, or whenever you are going to some location for the charging point of view, please do ensure. Okay. So which charging port it will support it up. Okay. So what is the time duration? Even though if you connect 100, 200 kilowatt also, it won't take that much. Whatever the power rating is mentioned in the vehicle, it will only take that much amount only. Okay. So please do ensure this and take care of it. Okay, so this is how the charging station, bigger charging station looks like. Okay, so right, so this is just like a petrol bunk. Okay, so you can see this, that box of the white color ones are the chargers. Okay, so same as a petrol bunk, and you can go there, you can charge it, and you can go back. Okay, so coming in one way and going in the same way, or coming in one direction going in another direction, that depends upon the location and all. Okay, so this is how the bigger charging station will be looking like. Okay, right? So this is how the chargers will be looking like. On the left hand side, you can see this one Delta charger, that is a 50 kilowatt charger. Okay, on the right hand side, the small one, you can see this one as again the 25 kilowatt charger. Even 50 kilowatt version is also there in that one. Okay, right? So here on the right side, the small one has a customizable one. Okay, CCS2 and CHAdeMO. Okay, both together you can charge it up in a single charger. Okay, right? So on the left side, you can see this one, that 50 kilowatt one. Okay, so which has only CCS combination, only one charger is charging port is there. But for this 25 kilowatt or 50 kilowatt version is also available in this. You have two charging guns, meaning is that two vehicles at a time you can charge it, and two different models you can charge it. CCS2 and CHAdeMO. Okay, so Japanese vehicles and as well as the CCS2 combined vehicles, which are there in almost all the countries. Okay, so you can charge two at a time. Okay, right. So this is the one, and people will think that yeah, installing the charging stations is quite complex and all financial stuff. Okay, right. So if you want to don't want to do any kind of a thing, you can also simply set up a two-wheeler charging station in any kind of a malls, or otherwise in your apartment, or otherwise in any kind of theaters and all. You can take that one as a rent and you can place that one. Okay, so that is not a big difference at all. Here you can build your own charging station. Okay, so you can see this one is a very small box which is made by a local guy. Okay, so you don't need any kind of a certifications for this one. Only thing is that vehicle manufacturer, you have to meet them and you have to see that what is the kind of a charging port they have, and based on that, a small electronic meter which will show you how many units you have consumed, and small indicators. Okay, so power supply is there or not, it will show you over there, and you have a blue color one on the bottom which is nothing but your charging plug holder. Okay, so that charging cable, if you have that one and if you have purchased it, that is more than enough for you. You can build it on your own. And this is a ready-made one, which is cost is available at 9,800 rupees. Okay, so which is the least cost one. Okay, so but if you want to make it on your own, you can hardly make it around 5 to 6,000 rupees. You can make it on your own. Okay, so what is there? Only charging cable will be there. Okay, so AC power supply, because two-wheeler, when you talk about the shopping malls, complexes and all, if you're very focusing on two-wheelers only, okay, so two-wheeler chargers will have always the AC supply charging only is possible. Okay, so DC fast charging is not possible because of the battery limitations and all. Okay, so AC charging, very simple. AC supply lines are coming. You should have a small electronic meter which will be hardly costing you 700 rupees to 1500 rupees depending on what you want to use. Then the small charging cable is more than enough. Okay, and that wooden box or plastic box, you can buy it or you can make it on your own. Okay, so this is one kind of a system. You can make it for yourself in your colleges or in any kind of a malls or anything. Okay, and you can earn money while using this kind of a simple setup. Hardly cost you around 10,000 rupees. What is there in that one? Do it and enjoy the benefits. Okay, so right. So everybody will ask you if you are setting up any kind of a charging station and anything. Okay, so they will always ask you, why should I go for the electrical vehicles only? Why shouldn't I go for any other things like petrol or diesel vehicles and all? Okay, right. For that one, you should be able to ready to answer it. Okay, right. So this is a one thing. Okay, so we can show them. Suppose I have taken it as a Mahindra E2O model, which is the oldest version. Okay, right. So on a single charge, okay, so it will give you 120 kilometers of mileage. Okay, so right. And the similar vehicle in the Mahindra model, I have taken it up, and assumption I have taken it as per liter, it will give you 15 kilometers only. Okay, so if you think that what is the cost of petrol in the present day, okay, so right, I have taken it as 100 rupees. Some people might have 88 or 98 or 99 rupees also. You can take it over there. Okay, so cost of petrol is 100 liters. Okay, right. So cost of petrol for 120 kilometers, because on a single charge, my electrical vehicle is giving me 120 kilometers. Okay, the same thing if I have to drive for 120 kilometers. So 15 aids are 15 kilometers per liter it will give. So 15 aids are 120. So 8 liters petrol I require to run for 120 kilometers in a normal IC engine. So what is the cost of that one? 800 rupees. Okay, right. So, but when come to your electrical vehicle, okay, so how much power it will consume? 16 units. Okay, so right. So in a day or in anything, 16 units. Okay, so what is the charge for 16 units? If it is your normal household, it will be hardly 1 rupee 45 paisa or 2 rupees 20 paisa, 2 rupees 60 paisa. Maximum that you will not be able to give beyond that one. Okay, so if he's a domestic consumer, if he is like any apartments and all, okay, 3 rupees 60 paisa to 5 rupees and 5 rupees 50 paisa. Okay, so not beyond that. So I have taken it as a discount charge if you are setting up a separate charging station with separate transformers and all, bigger charging station. For that one, government has fixed a rate for Telangana, even for Andhra and for Karnataka also, 6 rupees per unit they will charge. Electricity department will charge. Okay, so if I am taking that charge also 6 rupees, I have taken it on the maximum side. Okay, right. So okay, so 16 kilowatt hour battery into 6 rupees, hardly it is costing me 96 rupees. Even though my taxes and all the things together, it will cost me only 100 rupees. Okay, for 120 kilometers, should I have to spend 800 rupees or should I have to spend 100 rupees? Ask this to the client, then he will understand what is the scenario in that one. And you know, this electrical vehicles are low maintenance. Okay, so and requires, of course, the expert maintenance is required over there, because everybody cannot do this electrical vehicle maintenance and servicing point of view. Expert is required over there, but lesser maintenance. Okay, so why? Because battery is there. Okay, so we will not remove the battery, we will not clean the battery, we will not check the battery at all. We will only see that what is the battery temperature, what is the battery. Okay, so health is there or not. That's it, not more than that. Okay, right. So just like your IC engines, there are not much moving parts and all, because it is only the motor. Just like you can think about your household fan is there, ceiling fan is there. Okay, so even after 1 year or 2 years, or we'll never open the motor and we will never clean the things and all. So here also the similar thing. just like your water pumps are there and all things are there, right? So here also the same situation. Very rare we will open it up. So that's why we leave it for the maintenance point of view. So maintenance cost is also very less if you talk about monthly or annually also very less. Okay. So annually, if you are saving this much, why not to go ahead for the electrical vehicle? Why you will always go for the petrol-based vehicles or the diesel-based vehicles? Now the petrol or rate cost is 100 rupees. Okay, so it might go to 120 rupees or 130 rupees after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. Okay, so who is going to guarantee you for that one? Okay, but some people will ask you, why not with the electricity department? Electricity department will take 10 rupees or 20 rupees. First, you have an option over there. Solar is one more option. Okay, so hardly 50,000 you will keep it up. It will always give you the power supply over there. Okay, right? So you have an option here. You don't have any kind of an option over there. Okay, so right, for the businessman, okay, for the people, okay, so we'll always think financially. For them, we have to explain it in the financial point of view. And for the people who will always look into the environment point of view, we'll always say that one, yeah, it is environmental friendly and all. Okay, right? So depending upon the person to person, we'll explain it in a different fashion over here. Okay, right? So when you talk about this 6 rupees per kilowatt hour, okay, so by using the electrical vehicles, the same thing if you convert it to the petrol vehicles, 50 rupees per kilowatt hour or 50 rupees per unit, you are paying them to the normal IC engines or petrol vehicles. Okay, so which one you want, 6 rupees or 50 rupees? And 800 rupees you want to spend or 100 rupees you want to spend? Okay, so leave that to the customer itself. Okay, right? So this is the way how I explain to my clients and all. Okay, so this is a small thing. Okay, and I just wanted to show you the small things which are called as a policy point of view. I just want to show you a glance of it. Okay, so I won't discuss much of this one. Okay, so the main policy which has been launched is NEMMP, National Electric Mobility Mission Plan, in 2013. Okay, right? So and after the implementation had started only in 2015 to 2017, that is actual implementation period which has started. Okay, so till then the policy framing works have been happening it up. What is the aim is that, okay, 6 to 7 million vehicles. Okay, so right, they have to sell it by 2020. That has they have kept it as a target. Okay, in order to boost this electrical mobility mission plan, FAME policy has been launched in 2015, but you know actual implementation happened only in 2017 due to some regulatory issues and all. Okay, right? What they are giving this? Okay, so what they are giving in this policy is that whenever you purchase any kind of a two-wheeler vehicles, okay, right? So you'll get a subsidy. How much you will get a subsidy? Okay, so for any two-wheeler vehicles, okay, so that 29,000 rupees you will get as a subsidy. If the cost is 60,000 rupees, you have to pay only 31,000 rupees. Remaining 29,000 rupees will be taken by the manufacturing company from the government. Okay, so the client doesn't need to pay this 29,000 rupees. Okay, right? Okay, right. So this is the one. And next, when you talk about the four-wheelers, okay, so the maximum is 1,38,000 rupees have been given to that one. Okay, right. So any vehicle you purchase, okay, so you have to this amount will be given by the government. The client don't need to pay any kind of this stuff. Okay, right. So this was actually there till 2017, but you know it has been extended till 2019. Okay, so due to some regulatory issues and all, this has been extended over there. Okay, right. So after looking into these things, okay, so yeah, each and everybody are giving the subsidies and all the things. Okay, so all the states have taken or have introduced their own separate, okay, so EV policies. I hope yesterday you might have seen in the news. Okay, so yesterday and day before yesterday also. Okay, right, as the Gujarat government has released their new electric vehicle policy point of view. Of course, we have to still yet study that one and understand it. Okay, so each and every state has started making their own policies. Okay, so how to improve this sales and how to sell these electrical vehicles and how to okay, get separated from this fossil fuels point of view. Okay, so you know each and every state has given target, and in this one there is a central contribution and state contribution is also there. How much center is contributing, how much state is contributing, that depends. Central contribution we can say it, but state's contribution depending upon state to state it will vary. Okay, so previously till 2019, okay, so we have seen this one 29,000 and 1,38,000 rupees was the one which has been given. But after that 2019, okay, right, so they have set a little bit of a standard. Okay, for each and every vehicle, why should I pay 29,000 rupees? If it is a small vehicle or bigger vehicle, why should I pay that one? Then they started thinking that on what basis? Then they have decided that on the basis of the battery, okay, and power ratings. Okay, so if you have 1 kilowatt hour battery, okay, so in your vehicle, two-wheeler vehicle, you will get an incentive of 10,000 rupees only. Okay, so irrespective of what is the price of that vehicle. Okay, right. So that is for the if it is for the bigger vehicles like buses and all, 20,000 rupees per battery capacity, 20 kilowatt hour capacity. Okay, so irrespective of the price over there. So this is a standard they have set it up. And one more thing, based on the request from a lot of manufacturers, they have said, okay, so GST was 18% in 2017 and all. And in 2018-19, it has been reduced to 12%. And as of now, in the present market, the GST on the electrical vehicle is only 5%. Okay. And moreover, what they have given it as, if you are a taxpayer, okay, so right, so maximum exemption of 1.5 lakhs will be, okay, so remitted from your tax point of view if you are purchasing any kind of an electrical vehicle. Okay, so depending upon the cost of the vehicle, if you take a 1 lakh cost of the electrical vehicle, okay, right, so depending on what is the tax you are paying to the government, in that one, that amount of tax will be deducted. Okay, so don't think that I purchase a 1 lakh 1 lakh vehicle and I'll be getting 1 lakh rebate. No, you will never get that one. Okay, so what is the amount of tax you are going to pay that one? On that, maximum slab rate is 1.5 lakhs. Suppose you have bought 1 crore of electrical vehicle. Okay, so for that one, you are paying almost 3 lakhs of tax to the government. Okay, so in that 1.5 lakhs, you can remit that one and you can claim that one. Okay, so right, so that is the meaning of that. Okay, right. So next thing is that, okay, so what is again another incentive? Okay, so all this 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees per kilowatt hour, okay, they have set it up. But again, on later stages in 2019, okay, so based on a lot of interaction with the manufacturers and clients and all, they made one more thing. Okay, so buses or 2-wheelers or 3-wheelers or 4-wheelers should have the price cap in the maximum limit. Okay, right. So the 2-wheelers, okay, so which are falling under less than 1.5 lakhs, total cost of the vehicle should be less than 1.5 lakhs. Then only they are eligible for per kilowatt 10,000 rupees. Okay, subsidy they will be eligible. If it is a 3-wheeler one, okay, right, so this will be 5 lakh rupees. Okay, so 5 lakhs should be the cost of the vehicle. If it is a 4-wheeler, okay, so this should be less than 15 lakhs rupees. If somebody is purchasing Hyundai Kona, okay, Indian version, okay, so that cost is hardly around 24 to 28 lakhs. You have the ranges in that one. If you purchase that vehicle, you don't get any kind of subsidy because it is crossing beyond 15 lakhs. But if you take about Maruti WagonR, which is expected to launch, okay, so by this year end, okay, that will be costing you 8 lakhs and on-road price is around 10 lakhs rupees. Yeah, you'll get a rebate on that one, depending on the battery capacity, per kilowatt hour battery capacity. Okay, so this is the limitations they have set. Okay, so from 2019 onwards, still we are following the same thing. Okay, right. And okay, so when you see into this one, okay, so where the government stands and what is the focus of the government, just because of the policy note point of view, I just mentioned it also on the main points. Okay, the government focuses only on the 3 verticals. Okay, right. So first is demand side incentives, which is nothing but if you are a purchaser, okay, so you want to purchase any kind of an electrical vehicle or charging station or anything, you should get some kind of an incentive. Okay, so that is what they are focusing on. Okay, so basically subsidies and all. Establishment of network of charging stations. Okay, so that they have already in most of the metro cities and all. Okay, setting up the charging stations on their own. Okay, to show it as a main prototype model, and after that, the other people will be able to take it up. Just like the petrol bunks, how the people have taken the dealerships and how they have installed it in different locations. Okay, so such a kind of a network they are looking it up. Okay, next thing is that administration point of view. Okay, and this okay, so setting the standards. Okay, so we are getting the electrical vehicles and chargers or all the things will be there. Okay, so everything has IEC standards, but they want to modify that one IEC standards into BIS standards, and they that everybody must be familiar with RI certification point of view, Automotive Research Association of India. Okay, so RI certification is mandated for most of the chargers and the charging stations. If you want to import anything, or if you have imported and if you want to sell it, anything, this certificate is mandated. Okay, so they are making on this administration point of view over here. Okay, so for our country, what is required, and based on that, they would like to take this one and stop it up. Okay, right. So when you talk about on a glancer note, okay, so committee recommendations point of view. Okay, so right. So here the committee says that one, any kind of a technical issues. Okay, so whether it may be related to the power supply connection point of view, or whether it may be required to what is the power standards and quality point of view. Okay, so who is the authority over here? Okay, CEA is the authority, Central Electricity. Okay, so authority. Okay, so whenever you have these things, okay, so whether I have to connect it to 220 volts or 440 volts or 11 kV or 33 kV, okay, all the things if you have any kind of a doubts or anything and all the things, okay, so just go to the CEA website and try to look into that one. Then you will be having a clear understanding and picture of it. Okay, so technical standards for the power point of view and connection to regulations point of view. Who is the guy who is making this one? Central Electricity Authority is the one. Okay, right. And when you talk about IEC or BIS standards. Okay, right? So when you talk about IEC standards, charging stations, you have IEC 6, okay, 61851. In that one, substandards are also there. This is a main standard, 61851. Okay, so what should be the requirement of a charging station? Okay, so right. So what are the components should be there? What is the ratings of that one? What is the power communication point of view? How the so power flow had to be there, and how the communication should happen between the charging station and electrical vehicle. Everything will be there in this IEC standard. So whenever you are purchasing or selecting any kind of a charger, okay, so whether it may be Type 2 or whether it may be CCS or whether it may be CHAdeMO or anything, okay, please ensure that this is IEC certified with this tab number as 61851. Okay, valid for 2021 to 2025 or 2030, whatever it is. Okay, right? So if you are an assembler, charging station assembler, okay, right? So you will get electronic circuit from somebody else and you get connectors from somebody else. If you are getting that connected separately, then you have to look for 62196, okay, substandard 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so you have to look for this one. Okay, so what does it talk about? Okay, so what should be the housing of these connectors? Okay, so how many connectors should be there? I mean, how many conductors should be there inside that one? Whether it is a phase neutral or positive, negative, and how many carrier okay, so connections should be there, and okay, right? So what should be the gapping between the one conductor to another conductor? Yeah, please, sir.
Slide not moving. It's been showing only electrical vehicle policy.
Okay, just a minute, sir. I'll just disconnect it and I'll reconnect it once again. Yeah, now you are able to see my screen, sir. Shared one. Are you able to see the screen, sir, now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So are you able to see the slide changes now? Yeah.
No, sir.
Thank
Now
you.
in the site.
Recommendation of the committee. Yeah, yes, sir. Now it's able to.
It's changing, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, right. So whenever you are
Okay,
want to purchase this, yeah, thank you, sir. So whenever anybody wants to purchase this connector separately and all, okay, so you have to follow this kind of IEC rules. Okay, so because IEC rule itself is very big, when you search it in the Google and when you try to download the documents and all, it is a very big page. But if you want anybody want to learn about this one, this will be very good. Okay, so right. So if you have any kind of an R&Ds and all, try to look into this one, IEC 61851. Okay, so for the entire charging station, only for the connectors point of view, if you want to make it on your own and make it as RI certified, and if you want to take any kind of a certification, then you have to follow this IEC rules. If you don't want to make any kind of a certification just as a prototype model, that is your wish. Based on your research, you can take some kind of inputs for this, guys. Okay, right? So BIS standards, they are converting this IEC standards into the similar BIS standards. Okay, so in 2018, the committee has been formed. Okay, so Sajid Muzaffar is the scientist. Okay, so who is going to set up this one? But till now, you know, this 2021, we got a little bit of BIS standards for it, but relaxation has been given. Okay, so you don't need to get any kind of a BIS certification as of now because due to the ongoing situation. Okay, so IEC certification is there. That is more than enough as of now. Okay, so but in later stages, in the future things, okay, so even though if it is IEC certified, you should mandatorily should have the BIS certification. Meaning is that you have to take to one of these RI certified training, testing centers. You have to give it, you have to give your component to them. You have to provide the IEC certifications to them. They will test it and they will give you BIS hallmark on that. Okay, so that's only a small thing based on that. Okay, right. So when you talk about this, okay, so how the communication should happen, okay, right? So this will be specified over here, whether you want to use a 120 volts one or 240 volts or 500 volts or more than 500 volts. Okay, so which kind of a models and all will be used. Okay, so you will be getting a clear kind of information. Okay, so where you have to get this kind of an information is nothing but DHI, Department of Heavy Industries, which is basically taking care of this FAME policy or NEMMP policy. Okay, so National Electric Mobility Mission Plan. Okay, so this is taken care by Department of Heavy Industries. Okay, so right, so this is taking into this policy point of view. Okay, so if anything is there, okay, so when you were talking about interconnection or the voltage levels point of view, you have to talk about the CEA. Okay, right. So when you talk about charging protocol point of view, Okay, so and between that one, communications between the protocol point of view. Okay, so depending upon the state to state, DHI has given the guidelines. Okay, so for 120 volts or 240 volts or 300 volts, there is a small amount of guidelines how you have to interface, how it had to communicate. Okay, so for that one, you have to visit the DHI website over here. Okay, right. So when you talk about the testing point of view, we already discussed RI is the one more thing. Okay, so everybody will always look for the RI certification point of view. Of course, ICAT is also there, but I heard very less. Okay, and RI, I heard from the most of the people, whatever the manufacturers we do meet, we always hear that yeah, it is RI certified. Yeah, it's okay, done. Okay, so RI will have different certification. I mean, different testing facilities in different locations. Try to look into that one and give you a product over there, and they will tell you what are the formalities involved in that one, what is the financials involved in it, and your component can be RI certified over. Okay. So, and who will be setting up of this electrical infrastructure? Yeah, guidelines, rules, and regulations will be made by your CEA, and as well as protocols will be made by DHI, Department of Heavy Industries. Okay, but electrical infrastructure had to be taken care by the DISCOM people itself. Okay, so at DISCOM again they will follow the guidelines of Central Electricity Authority. Okay, so right, so whenever you want to set up any kind of a bigger charging station, not a small level 1 or level 2, okay, so which might not be considered because of low power ratings, but when you talk about okay, so about 22 kilowatt AC charging stations, or other above 15 kilowatt AC charging stations, or otherwise DC charging stations, then you have to take the permission from the DISCOMs and all. Okay, right, at that time the DISCOM will follow some kind of a protocols. Okay, and they will see, they will assess the location, they will check it whether it is feasible or not, they will give you a okay, so they will give you a note, and after that only you should be able to install it. Okay, so this kind of a facility and will be taken care by the DISCOM people over here. And where should be the location of the charging station? Most of the people will get doubt. Okay, so nobody has restricting your place. Okay, so wherever you want you can do that one, but only thing is that between one charging station to other charging station within the locality, okay, within the city, it should be 3 kilometers by 3 kilometers radius, it should be there. Okay, but if you are talking about the highways point of view, 25 kilometers, if it is about national highways or the intercity, okay, so interstate connections point of view, between every 100 kilometers point of view, there should be one charging station on either side. Okay, right, so this is about where exactly you have to locate it. Okay, so how would you know this, whether it is 3 kilometers by 3 kilometers or different radius and all? Most of the people have Google Maps, they can check it up, or otherwise always try to visit your nodal agency. Okay, for Telangana the nodal agency is TS Redco, for Andhra the nodal agency is Netcap. Okay, so for Karnataka, okay, so Credal is there, but if you go for the Bangalore point of view, Bestcom will be taking care of this one. Okay, so right, if you talk about Tamil Nadu, TEDA is there, Tamil Nadu Energy and Development Agency. Okay, so go to these people if you want to set up a bigger charging station or a public charging station with the DC chargers and all. Okay, so once you go to them, okay, so they will take you a little bit of your details, and after that they will give you to fill up a form. Okay, in that one you will be specifying the location and all the things. Okay, so once it is given, you have to pay them a nominal fees. Okay, right, so once you pay a nominal fees, they will come for the site visit and they will check it up. Okay, and they will check other aspects also. Okay, and after that they will give you a clean sheet. Okay, so whether you will be able to install it or not, once your registration is done, they have to take care. Okay, right, so this is the common protocol which is given by the central government point of view. But you know, there are a lot many okay, so DISCOM people and the nodal agencies who don't have much of a awareness and knowledge on this one. At that time they will always ask you to go for the third party verification point of view. Okay, so other third party agency will come and they will check it up. Okay, so whether it is near to any other charging station or not, or otherwise feasibility point of view, they will check it up and they will give you a clean sheet on that one. Okay, so either ways is possible until once everybody becomes familiar with this kind of a technology and all. Yeah, this nodal agencies, they themselves will be able to take care of this works. Okay, so because this is an additional work which is given to this nodal agency. Okay, so there is no additional manpower which is given, existing manpower itself they have been handling this one. Okay, so due to some restrictions, they are accommodating this kind of a situation. Okay, so try to cooperate with them. Don't say that this is your responsibility. Okay, so each and every state have their little bit of adjustments over there, so we have to follow it. Okay, right, so how these installations will be going ahead. Okay, so all the central government, whatever they have did, okay, so state governments or central government, they will be installing in the phase wise manner all these charging stations. Okay, so first phase, okay, so which is a period for 20, okay, so right, Okay, so first 3 years. Okay, so 2017 to 2020 it is called as, but it has been extended to 2022. Okay, first phase, what they will do is they will install the charging stations in the mega cities. Okay, so few charging stations in the mega cities. Okay, so right, and after that, the other people or the business people will take over the other places in the mega cities. Next thing is that once the mega cities are over, then what they will do, they will call for the cities or otherwise state capitals point of view where the population is less than 4 million people. Okay, so there they will call for the tenders. So right now the mega cities are almost, they have completed. Okay, so right, when you talk about the Hyderabad and all, most locations they have installed. Next target they are looking, it is state capitals with less population. Okay, so that is the target for 21 and 22. Okay, so now what we have to do is that if you are a business person, if you want to set up a charging station, focus on these areas. Okay, so which is that one? Bangalore, highest number of population again. Tamil Nadu, again high number of population. Hyderabad, high number of population. Okay, if you talk about Gujarat, Vadodara point of view, and okay, so right, Gandhinagar and all the things. So think about the population, whether it is beyond 4 million or less than 4 million. If it is less than 4 million, then target for that one for the next 21 to 22, because you will be the early person to set up the charging station in those areas. Okay, so you know that one early entry into the business will always give you a little bit of cutting edge stuff. Okay, right. So once these mega cities are over, then what they will do is, okay, so right, so cities, normal cities and normal towns, and after that later stages they will be entering into the rural point of view. Okay, so this is always phase by phase they are going to give you. Okay, so if you are a person who want to do the business, who want to set up a charging station, okay, so right now the government is focusing on mega cities. Focus on that one, because you will get some kind of a subsidies and rebate on each and every equipment you purchase. Okay, so right now itself, if you want to set up in the rural areas, still you will have some amount of subsidies will be given. But when the central government is focusing or the state government is focusing on those areas, they will give you additional benefits compared to the present thing. Okay, right, like might be land lease point of view, or might be some other things. Okay, so tax rebate point of view, CGST, okay, so SGST point of view. Okay, so any kind of rebate might be there when they are focusing on those things. Okay, so this is one way of doing that one, and the other way of thinking is that when nobody is there, I'll install the first. Okay, so this is the another way of doing. Okay, so depending upon what kind of a business person you are, okay, so where you are aggressive or whether you are speculative or whether you are on the go. I just want to, okay, so watch and then afterwards later what I want to go. Okay, what kind of a business person you are, based on that you can make your decision over here. Okay, so right, so these are the things. Okay, and when it is coming to the priority areas, okay, so right, basically you might be most of the people, I'm thinking that from the research background point of view. Okay, so you might be doing research in a lot of areas. Okay, so where you have to focus, even though if you are a business person or a research person, where exactly you have to focus. Okay, so where is the more amount of funding is there? Okay, right, so you have to focus on that one. First and foremost thing, the main amount of funding or the focus is there on the battery cell point of view. Okay, so what is the battery chemistry, what is the battery cell point of view, you have to focus on that one. And right now today I hope everybody knows about BEL, Bharat Electronics Limited. Okay, so today in management okay, so management meeting and the investors meeting, they have said that one. So BEL is going to set up a battery manufacturing plant. Okay, so right, so where exactly and all we don't know, we have to wait for the manufacturing okay, so the company's commitment point of view. But if you can see the news today, okay, so we'll be able to get it up today itself. They have announced it, and we can see that the market value of that BEL share market value has been raised. Okay, so almost 8 to 10%. Okay, right. So this is the biggest one. Okay, so battery cell, if you are focusing on this area, you can do the R&D and you can do some kind of activities in this one. Government is also giving you a lot of amount of benefits in these areas. Yeah, this is the first and foremost priority area. Okay, so where I can earn good things, where I can get good money, where I can get good name and fame also, everything is in that battery cell. Okay, so coming to the next, which is my priority area. Next thing is power electronics and as well as electric motor priority. Okay, so power electronics, you can take it as a second priority. Okay, so all the electronic circuits, control circuits and all the things. Okay, so this is your second topmost priority area. You have to focus on that. Next thing is the electric motor. Okay, so the efficiency of the electrical motor and the cooling system of the electrical motor is the most important thing, because whenever you are running the vehicle for 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers, four-wheeler, two-wheeler, you know that electrical motor gets heat up very fast, and you should know the efficient way of cooling these electrical motors. Okay, so this is what the present trend which is going on. Okay, so glycol is one of the so common reagent which is used for the cooling of this so heating substances. But apart from glycol, is there any other substance which can cool it up? Okay, so either it may be gel based or watery based or whatever it may be. Okay, so right, if we can focus on that, well and good. Next, Last focus is there on battery management system. Okay, so once the battery is manufactured, then you have to understand, okay, so what is the battery voltage, what is that okay, current level or current health of the battery. Okay, so you should be able to assess it in a low level. Okay, so in a deeper matter. Okay, so when you talk about lead acid batteries, it will be little bit easier. We do have a battery management system even at the cell level also. Okay, so you can see that one, what is the thermal implications of that, what is okay, series and shunt resistance point of view, you'll be able to see that one. But when you talk about lithium ion batteries or lithium batteries or lithium, okay, so okay, so lithium ferrous batteries, okay, so there you don't have a specific cell connection over there, right? Okay, so right, so there in lead acid batteries you will have a 6 cells and you will be stacking that one in series. It will become a 6 volt or 12 volt battery or 24 volt battery. But when you talk about lithium ion batteries, you will have each and every cell will have very lesser voltages, 3.4 volts or 5 volts or 6 volts, within that range. Okay, so very less number of cell voltage will be there. In order to monitor each and every cell, it is not possible. So you have an efficient battery management system with a lesser cost is the main focus again. And these are the focus areas. And final thing is the transmission system. This is only for the mechanical people. Okay, so your gears or rods and steering and all the wheels will be coming into this transmission system point of view. Okay, right? So this is the final area. Okay, so if you are doing anything, if you want to do any kind of a business or any areas and all the things, yeah, so try to prioritize in these segments and try to focus. Okay, so then only it will be able to fetch you good amount of stuff. Okay, so battery manufacturing, cell manufacturing, a lot of companies are into this one. Okay, so right, so if you want to do any kind of internship point of view, you can also right now you can choose BEL, which is recent. Just now today itself they have announced they're going to make this battery cell point of view. Tata Chemicals is also there. Okay, so which is they are also setting up battery. Okay, so cell manufacturing point of view. Okay, right. So when you talk about Himadri Specialty Chemicals, they are doing the raw materials for this batteries, lithium batteries manufacturing point of view. Okay, so there are a lot many people are there. Okay, so if anybody wants to know in detail and want to learn a lot many things, okay, so try to have these contacts, companies who are doing into this, and try to enter in this business area. And if anybody is from Hyderabad, okay, you have one more good company which is called as Olectra Green. Okay, so Olectra Green, which is a very good company which is making the electrical vehicles over here. Okay, right, so you can always associate with them. Okay, right, so this is the thing I just wanted to share you guys. Okay, right, so this is my end of this stuff, and we are already done with 4:20. We do have only 10 minutes of time. Okay, so meanwhile, if you have any kind of queries or discussions and all the things, we'll be able to discuss that one. And thank you guys for listening to me patiently for this long, 2:30 to 4:30. It's been a little bit of an exhausted time. Okay, so right, but I hope you enjoyed well. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you for your time. And if you have any kind of queries or clarifications or doubts or anything, we'll be able to discuss that one. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, Harikrishna. Just we'll be taking the question from the chat box. So there was a question in the chat box. Can you able to see, or shall I read the question?
Yeah, I'll just check it out. So once, yeah. So Mr. Narsimulu, right? So individual can set up a single charging station as a startup. Yes, you can set up a single charging station as a startup. That is, choice is up to you. If you want use the level 1 chargers, which are only less than 3.3 kilowatt and all. Okay, so right, so that is your choice. But when you are going for the 3-phase supply point of view and DC fast charging stations, try to approach the nodal agency and submit the application to them. Okay, because it requires the individual setup of the electrical stations. Okay, so you can choose whatever you want based on your financials. You can do 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler, 4-wheeler, whatever you want you can do. But only for the DC charging stations, you have to approach your nodal agency. Okay.
So Arun Kumar
Right.
also asked one question, Dr. Arun Kumar sir.
Yeah.
What is the capacity of the battery for EV bus? What is the cost?
Sorry, Mr. Arun Kumar. Basically, I don't deal with this EV batteries point of view because I deal only with the charging stations point of view. But I'll try to get it from many of my friends and just try to share this one. Okay, so I'm not much familiar with bigger buses and all. Okay, so sorry for that one. I'll not be able to help you much in this stuff.
Actually, there was a Koteswar Rao. I raised his hand.
Okay.
What's your question, sir? Lokeshwar Rao, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, good evening, sir. Speaker, sir. So I have a question. The thing is, we are discussing about charging stations and the EV vehicle production, all these things. But if we get any problems, any issues with the converters or the battery system, so what
Okay.
about the business point of view? If you have a like service station,
Okay.
for that, government is giving any subsidies or any training?
Service stations, no, the government is not focusing on that one. This is done by the manufacturers. Okay, so
Okay.
I can tell you only about this Tata guys point of view. Okay, so they are in the existing dealership also they are giving you, and they are allocating one person only specially for the taking care of this kind of an electrical vehicles. And if you have any manpower, this guy will train your manpower and he will move away. Or otherwise, he will give you hand holding for a period of 3 to 6 months point of view. So this is there from the manufacturer's end, but I have not seen anything from the government's end.
Okay, sir. So in future, can we expect this type of service station, like how the mobile phones we have a private
Yes.
services agencies like that? Can we
Yeah.
expect from individual dealers for
Yeah,
this
individual
service?
dealers, yes, you can. Already there are lot many servicing stations, even in Hyderabad also. We do have in Kondapur, the servicing station is there. But only thing is that they are catering only to limited models. I mean, Tata Motors only dealing with Tata Motors. When you talk about another vehicles, Mahindra vehicles, only focusing on Mahindra vehicles, right? But you don't have a unified as of now. But in future, definitely, okay, people will adapt to that one. They will definitely come to unified station, just like we will have normal garages in our household. Definitely in the future it will have that one, but government focus, I don't think they will focus on that one. Only manufacturer will focus because they need sales, they need good service, they need clients. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Raised by sir. Narasimha sir, you raised your answer. So okay. So there was a couple of questions has been given in this thing. Narasimha sir.
Yes, hello.
Ah,
I'm
yes,
just
sir.
checking
You're
out
audible, sir.
what is the minimum investment required for the charging station to establish, and how will be the ROI going forward?
ROI and all. Yeah, that's my tomorrow session. In the second half, I'll be totally dealing with only with the financials point of view. So, what is the cost of the charging stations, and what is this capex, and okay, so what is the maintenance cost and all. So tomorrow I'll be taking care of that one. So entirely, if you set up a charging stations, what is your payback period, ROI, what is the life expectancy point of view? So that is my tomorrow's 2 hour sessions, totally focusing on that and business models. Okay, so I'll be sharing that one in the tomorrow's session.
So one more thing, Harikrishna
Yeah.
sir, actually, dear audience, actually tomorrow there is a small changes in the schedule. So apart from that schedule from Harikrishna sir, we are having one more schedule from the Tata Motors. Just now they confirmed me. Before lunch they have been given confirmation. So since we have been not covered the battery management system, so we are going to get the Tata Motors yet, so who is going to taking care of complete AP and Telangana, who is going to deliver the battery management system in practical way. So tomorrow 1 hour schedule will be from 3:30 to 4:30. We are going to have the schedule from the Tata Motors. So I am requesting all the participants kindly attend the tomorrow session by second half, so that you may get some practical input from the working people. Like what I have been today, Hari Krishna has been shared. No? So like that tomorrow also session will be packed with the technicals. So I am requesting audience kindly tomorrow by second half 3:30 to 4:30 we are having the schedule from Tata Motors. So I'll be updating the schedule by evening. So this announcement I have to make it. Harikrishna sir, accordingly you can plan your schedule, sir.
Yeah, sure, sir. If you can, the timelines, based on the timelines, we'll
Because you can
plan it.
have a session from 2:30 to 3:30, 3:30 to 4:30. We are going to have the schedule from Tata Motors, sir. That's it.
Okay, yeah, 1 hour. Then I'll just consolidate to that one.
Consult accordingly, sir. No issue. Sorry, sir. Just now I got confirmation because battery management so far we not covered in this FTP. So I thought that battery management, if you're adding, it will be giving a full packet for our audience. So that's only we requested Tata Motors. They given confirmation.
Okay, sure. So yeah, definitely that.
So there was a question in the chat box also. I'll be reading so one by one to cover the thing. So actually, how to improve the mileage from mountain slope area? It is a question asked by Vinod Kumar Murugan.
Yeah, Mr. Vinod Kumar, I'm not a design. I'm not from the designing team. Okay, so I'm just working from my home. If my team was there, I could have helped you on that one. Okay, right. Sorry, I'll not be able to deal in that one because I'm not a designer. Anything related to the charging stations and any aspect of the charging stations point of view, yeah, I'll be able to help you, but not in the electrical vehicle segment point of view.
So audience, for your for information, the feedback link for day 3 session 3 has been posted by Balaji. It is there in the chat box. So I'm requesting audience kindly ensure that you are filling your feedback. So meantime you can answer the question, sir. There was a question given by Venkat Devi. Lead acid battery are in series, lithium battery are connected in series and parallel. What is
Yeah,
the thing?
that is the statement, sir. Yeah, lead acid batteries are connected in series, of course, but the battery output can be series or parallel. Lithium batteries are connected in series and parallel. Yeah, that was the statement, I guess. I don't think that was
Okay.
any question. Yes, statement, I guess. Yeah.
Again, Narasimhan sir has been given what will be investment, how will be, and the return of investment tomorrow you are going to take, no, sir? Hari Krishna, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I think give message. Okay. What are the safety?
Okay, so safety norms point of view, if it is an EV charging stations, yeah, I'll share you tomorrow. Okay, so a small amount of safety norms you have to follow by installing the charging stations and all. But when it is coming to the electrical vehicle safety point of view, yeah, I'll not be able to share because I'm not the authorized person for that one. Okay, so right, so if any manufacturer or somebody is coming from the different companies, they'll be able to share the safety norms of the vehicle. I'll share you tomorrow the safety norms of EV chargers, definitely. Okay, so limitations of electrical vehicle. Sorry, Mr. Arun Kumar. Yeah, electrical vehicle. Presently in this stuff, I'm not dealing with the electrical vehicle, so I may not be able to share much glance on that one electrical vehicle point of view. But if you can be specific, what exactly is that limitation? If you are looking, I'll try to answer to that one.
I think there was a question pertaining to myself. Kindly share the drive link of the recorded session for the future reference. Definitely, we have been consolidating, and once we consolidate everything, we'll be sharing the link to the big. Since I'm having all the participant mail ID, definitely I'll be sharing. That is not at all issue. The only thing is I want to consolidate and I have to save it in the local drive. So it is taking some time. Definitely I'll do it. Any more questions, sir? So Vinod Kumar Murugan sir asked one more question. Why it is too cost in electrical vehicle compared to IC engine vehicle? That is the question given by Murugan sir.
Okay, so this is a simple logic. Whenever the technology is new into the market, the cost is very high. Okay, so right, so this is everywhere the same situation will happen. Okay, right. So when the technology is understood by all the people and everybody started to enter into the market, then you will be entering into the phase of penetration pricing. At that time, it will be very less cost. Okay, so you can think about that one like an Apple iPhone, right? So it is a new technology. Each and every time it will be released with a high cost. But after the releasing for the three months or 4 months or 6 months point of view, the same mobile is getting you at a lower cost. Okay, so right. So this is also the similar thing. The main thing in this electrical vehicles is the battery technology here, which is almost costing you 48% of the total cost of the electrical vehicle. In some situations, it is going beyond 50% also. If the battery technology, okay, so is in our control and the battery manufacturing has been localized and it is made it very efficiently with a lesser amount of cost, yeah, the cost will be automatically coming down. But I don't see much of a cost differences between the electrical vehicle and the normal IC engines. If you are talking about the BS6 in the present market trend, of course, hardly around 20% of difference is there. Okay, so but in near future, okay, so when we start making our own lithium-ion batteries, okay, and when we because the problem is that we don't have lithium ore exactly in India. Okay, so right, so that's one of the reasons. So if we can do any other kind of an alternative, like you talk about the supercapacitors, or it may be metal halide batteries, or it may be air batteries. Okay, so right. So if you have that kind of a technology which we can do it up and which can be localized and regularized, yeah, definitely your cost is very less. So main thing is that new technology, definitely it is at priced at high thing.
The feedback link again, there was audience asking Veerasundaram sir, feedback link is not visible. I think it is visible for me. Again, you post it.
No, sir, we cannot see link.
Right now, sir, right now. Again, he has been posted, so I can able to see the thing, sir. Right now you posted, sir. Where is
No,
Sundaram, sir?
sir. Let me
Can't see it,
refresh.
sir?
Nope.
Again, Mohan sir also posted for you. So okay. Any more queries from the audience? You are most welcome to ask your.
Excuse me, sir.
You are excused, Rutu. Tell me, sir.
Yeah, I feel that the success of electric vehicle purely depends upon the availability of electric charging stations in various places. Okay, but even in metros, even though many automotive manufacturers they have manufactured the EV vehicle and rollout, but we couldn't see electric charging stations even in metro cities. So, what is the actual plan, sir? Still, they are relying on only the conventional oil and gas.
It's not only about that one because they have rolled out and there are a lot many charging stations are there. But only thing is that due to regulatory issues, there is no commercial operation. Okay, so basically, when I'm talking about in tomorrow's session, you will be able to understand whenever the charging station is set up, how much amount you have to collect it from the client. Okay, so that depends upon the biggest point over here. And they don't have any kind of a regularized one. Like petrol and diesel is there, you have 100 rupees or 120 rupees or whatever it is, that regularized price is there. But when you talk about the charging station, it is new to everyone. And they don't have any kind of a regularization over here. That is one of the things which is stopping them, okay, so to establish on the stuff. And
So-
next thing is that these dealers, okay, so whatever the electric vehicle dealers are there, they have the charging stations in most of their localities. Okay, so if you know a dealer in some locality, they will definitely have a charging station over there. If they have a place, the manufacturers are giving you this stuff. And one thing, whenever I have met even the government officials, whenever we have the meetings and all things, right, they will always post only one thing is that even metro cities, can you please show us the land where we will be able to set up the bigger charging station or the fast charging station, because it requires at least a half acre of land, minimum 0.3 acres of land we need for the setting up of a DC fast charging stations. In the metro cities, will you be able to show that kind of a land? Okay, so this is the biggest question mark, availability of the land, and these practical problems are there in the present scenario. Of course, it takes a little bit of a time to answer to all these things, but hopefully by the end of 2030, I'm not expecting sooner than this, because I don't know how long this pandemic will be there and whether it will be over within short period of time. By the end of 2030, we will have all the things just like the petrol bunks will be there. Okay, so each and everything will be equipped like electric charging stations. So you don't worry about that one. But till that time, I have to be a little bit skeptical on my things.
That's correct. I think Harikrishna sir, what you said is correct, because after installing a charger in NSIC, still we are not able to use it in full-fledged commercial. There was no any rate declaration from the local government. We are unable to allow this charger for outside people to use it.
Sir, one more question. The charge regularization, you told no,
Yes,
for
yes.
commercial purpose, charge regularization is not yet done. So is it,
Yes.
it will be done by government, or like oil and gas, it has to be decided by the electric charging manufacturing and supplying companies?
No. It is
Oil and
done
gas.
done by the regulatory aspect. Okay, so it is not by this industry or the manufacturing. It is done by the regulatory aspects. Okay, so this is okay. So Central Electricity Authority is the regulatory aspect over here, and along with that one, DHI will be taking care of this one. So these two together will be making this framework and policy for this one. Okay, so if they set up any kind of a third-party agency and all, we'll see that one in the later stages. But as of now, not yet regularization point of view, definitely. But it is only the regulatory authority, government point of view, they will be able to make it up. But once it is made, then we have to wait and watch, because it is new and it is really new to us. We'll not be able to comment much on that one, because once the government has set up one rate, whether it is feasible for you or not is again a bigger question. There will be a lot of question and A, and all the things will go on. So that's why I told you by 2030 we will have a regularization and commercialization. Till that time, we have to little bit of wait and watch.
So there was and take this Narasimha has been raised his hand. So, Narasimha
Yeah,
sir,
please.
you want to ask anything, sir? Narasimha sir?
No, sir, no.
Sorry, okay.
Sir, we don't have access to chat. For us, chat is disabled.
Who, sir? Who, name, sir?
Jaideep Shah. Jaideep Shah.
Oh, Jaydeep Shah. Okay, okay. You are unable to view, sir. You are using mobile phone or a laptop, sir?
Sir, from laptop.
Okay, okay. So no problems. I'll check it. But right now
It's
you are unable
mentioned
to.
that no
You are unable,
no longer has access to the chat. It is mentioning this.
so you do one thing, sir. Can you leave the meeting again? Rejoin, sir. Can you try that option for typing? You leave the meeting again. Rejoin, sir.
So if you have any question, you can ask.
So I'm requesting any more doubt. So Veerasundaram, sir, if you are unable to see it, can you leave the meeting again? Rejoin it so that we'll try
Sir,
whether.
I rejoined again, but it's still not visible for me on
Okay,
laptop.
okay. So actually, because yesterday also I kept to message this thing. Actually, as per the discussion I had with the Microsoft team yesterday, they said that there may be a problem at the user end. They instructed, asked the participant to kindly uninstall it again, reinstall it. They said. So time being, you ping me in my personal WhatsApp, sir. I'll try to send the link to you. You can fill the feedback. No, not at all a problem. I'll support.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So if you have any doubt, you can discuss with the
Yes, sir.
Hari Krishna.
Yes, sir.
Can you come in video? So I want to take snapshot. Possible?
So, just a minute, sir. Not sure whether my. Can you just give me 2 minutes of time, sir? I'll just set up this video.
No issue. No issue. Balaji, you are there in the meeting? Camera is not enabling. Camera is not enabling for us.
Sir, I messaged you. Please, can you share link?
Okay, I'll share it.
Thank
I'll
you.
share it, sir. Nothing
Thank
to
you.
worry. Give a couple of minutes. I'll be sending the link to you, sir. Nothing to worry. Please. So tomorrow, what
Okay,
means
sir.
after the session, for my sake, kindly you can uninstall your Microsoft team and install it, sir, for tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Today I'll be sending the link to you, to your WhatsApp. Hari Krishna, sir.
Sure. Is it visible?
Just a minute. Balaji, you are able to see. I can see my face, but your face still.
Are you able to see now, sir?
Wait, sir, wait. 2 minutes, sir. So far not able to see not able to see Hari Krishna, sir.
Okay, so I am in an office system, sir. I think this is little older one. Not
No,
sure.
no issue, sir. No
okay.
issue. I understand. Nothing to worry.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Sure, sir.
Not an issue. So I want to propose a vote of thanks for today's session, sir. So dear, very happy to see that was a very nice session given by our subject expert, Mr. Hari Krishna. He has been shown the practical aspects of different types of chargers and different types of selection of circuit, and he shown the case studies of Honda Icona and EV policies and recommendation committees on technical aspects, and what are the priority areas where research can able to do it. These are the points that have been shared by the Hari Krishna by today's session. So very thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation on behalf of NSIC and the complete team of this organizing committee. So I was wholeheartedly conveying my thanks for accepting our invitation, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for the opportunity, sir. Thanks a lot.
So
And
tomorrow
everybody
again,
have a good day and enjoy.
again tomorrow we are having your session, sir. By 2:30 we'll be having your session, sir.
Yeah, sure, sir. Definitely. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. You can leave the meeting, sir. So participants, I am requesting before leaving the meeting, I am requesting kindly ensure that you have been giving your feedback, and after ensuring the given feedback, you can leave the meeting. Tomorrow's session will begin exactly at 9:30 a.m. Tomorrow we are having speakers related to power system, impact of EV on grid, as well as types of chargers will be going to explain. And the second half, we are going to have the session from Tata Motors and financial aspects, which is going to be explained by same speaker of today, Mr. Hari Krishna Garu. If you have any doubt, you can ask me before ending the meeting.